Saturday after joint security operation caught them mining dangerously close to a school in Obuasi in the Ashanti region. And much later, TV3 launches the 20th anniversary edition of the Ghana's Most Beautiful, unveiling 16 contestants ahead of another exciting season. Thank you for joining us this morning. We'll start off with rather some good news, as the government of Ghana has announced that the economic community of West African state will donate some $250 million, equivalent to approximately 3 million Ghana cedis, to support the victims of the recent devastating floods across the country. Now, according to the government, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has received official notification from ECOWAS confirming the financial assistance. The announcement, made in the spirit of transparency and accountability, stated that the full amount would be transferred to the appropriate authorities immediately after the funds are released into government account. The Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, in a Facebook post, assured the public that the entire donation would be handed over to the benefit of those affected by the floods. The government of Ghana further expressed profound appreciation to ECOWAS for the generous gesture, describing it as a demonstration of solidarity and genuine African compassion during a difficult period for the country. Authorities say their support will complement the ongoing effort to provide relief and assistance to flood victims. The flood left at least 13 people dead. 7 other regions were also affected. Now, away from that to some illegal mining stories, a joint security operation on Saturday, August 1, has led to the arrest of 15 suspected illegal miners operating dangerously close to the Sanso Methodist Primary and Junior High School in the Obuasi municipality in the Ashanti region. This follows a whistleblower report that alerted the authorities to illegal mining activities in the area. Captain John Tibari, the Ashanti Regional Security Coordinator, has been throwing more light on the operation.
The regional minister sent me a video of a Rasus post on the social media platform that there was a illegal mining going close to Sansu ME Primary and GHS in Obuasi. So quickly, we detached our team at Obuasi to confirm whether the video was true. We got to the location. We were able to apprehend about 15 suspects. We got 3 excavators from the location. We were able to arrest the kingpin or the owner of the site at that place over there. So quickly, NIMOS directed that those suspects should be handed over to the CID headquarters in Accra. So they were dispatched to Accra, and currently they are in the hands of the CID in Accra. Our preliminary investigation or interrogation, I think they have been there for about 2 weeks. Because the schools were on vacation, that's why they were not able to, nobody was able to report early. Such areas as build-up areas or hideouts is difficult for them to know. So we depend on whistleblowers, people who give us information, informants and stuff like that. So this is what just happened, like somebody give us a whistleblower about what was happening over there and move there. But the regional minister's attention has been drawn to it. He has ordered that reclamation efforts to continue before the students get back to school. So on Monday, the regional reclamation team will be going to assess the site, and then they will subsequently try to close or refill the area back to its original position so that the students don't get hurt when they return back to school.
Now, away from the Ashanti region to the Western region, residents of Aboso and the Bimpomso in the Western region are resisting a proposal by Global Ghana Ore Mining Industries Limited to take over 3 community-owned cooperative mining concessions. The communities warn that the move could destroy livelihoods, weaken local businesses, and trigger social unrest if approved.
Chiefs and residents of Aboso and Bompieso have petitioned the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Ama Kofi Boah, to reject a proposal seeking to transfer the Bompieso, Gangway, and Fanti Mines cooperative mining concessions to Global Ghana Ore Mining Industries Limited. The petition argues that the cooperative mining model has become the backbone of the local economy, providing employment and driving infrastructure development across the two communities. According to the petitioners, replacing the cooperatives with an external operator would strip residents of their ownership of the mineral resource and reduce community participation in decisions affecting their future. They warn that the proposed takeover could result in widespread job losses, particularly among cooperative miners and thousands of people who depend indirectly on mining activities for their livelihoods. Food vendors, transport operators, equipment owners, mechanics, gold buyers, traders, landlords and other small businesses are also expected to feel the impact if mining income within the communities declines. The aggrieved miners from Abosso and Bompieso, clad in red, hit the streets of Abosso to protest the alleged takeover of the mines.
On the long-term race, if not carefully managed, the takeover could result in higher unemployment, reduced local economic resilience, increased social tension, loss of community participation in natural resource management, greater dependence on a single external employer. There will be slower local economic growth.
The chiefs and people of Abosso and Bompieso are therefore calling on the Lands and Natural Resources Minister to reject the proposal outright.
Honorable Minister, for emphasis sake, we respectfully request that you reject the proposal outright and conduct a thorough investigation into the matter. We, the chiefs and people of Abosso and Bompieso community, stand firmly united in our opposition to this proposal, and we urge you to protect our community's interests.
Assassinate an anonymous dia. The good woman aban oiden oshedo. Na mayel kekwen na no abande assassin na de obetu egudina wo man na so nte. Ya so ya no wode ya ba wo se yin betunko. Wonju ne manfo yo krom ha. Wonju ne mpuntu ana de ya kan ko ho. Wonju na ha wa ye benya. Wo so ya wo se wadam wo betu. Na say na nanom ye ni mo hwe ni wode mo ne ometu a. Na se manfo sola. Ni ehwem, ni ewuda mpa. Ma abani e di ya.
The miners insist they remain united in protecting what they describe as a community-owned economic lifeline. The petition places the future of the Abosso and Bompieso cooperative mining concessions firmly in the hands of the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry. For the affected communities, the decision will not only determine who mines the concessions, but also shape jobs, local businesses, and the economic future of thousands of residents.
Now away from that, the overlord of the Wala traditional state, Wana Husseini Seidu Perpo IV, has called on government to urgently intervene to address multiple challenges confronting the Wa Municipal Hospital that are affecting the quality healthcare delivery. The hospital is facing a myriad of challenges, including inadequate equipment, staff shortages, and poor infrastructure, making it more difficult to provide effective care to patients. A report by correspondent Ibrahim Wangara.
For more than a century, the Wa Municipal Hospital has served communities in the Upper West region. But behind the hospital's long history lies a growing crisis. Hospital management says many of its medical equipment are more than 3 decades old and have exceeded their operational lifespan, resulting in frequent breakdowns and high maintenance costs. According to the medical director, Dr. Bukare Zakari, obsolete equipment at the mortuary, neonatal intensive care unit, laboratory, theater, dental unit, and sterilization department continues to hamper quality healthcare delivery.
Some of the equipment have overgone their lifespan, and we have to always use high cost of maintenance to be able to maintain service to go on. An example is our mortuary, our CSSD equipment, our incubators at the NICU, our dental chair. So that tells you that when it reaches at that point and you are even using them, you will not get the quality results that you need to be able to take a decision.
The challenges go beyond medical equipment. The hospital buildings are riddled with cracks, leaking roofs, and an electrical wiring system that is more than 50 years old. Management says unstable power supply and outdated wiring have damaged several computers and medical devices, while blocked sewage system and broken water pumps have further worsened working conditions. At the hospital's main theater, staff are also grappling with inadequate surgical equipment. Head of anesthesia, Dr. Peter Paul Derry, says the facility lacks a fully functional sterilization unit and has to move suction machines from one operating room to another because of limited equipment. He says the hospital's only working anesthesia machine has also broken down.
It is the anesthesia machine that takes care of everything. But here is the big challenge. This anesthesia machine that we are all looking at is about 16 years old, donated. Management has changed the parts several times. I mentioned the vaporizer and then the canister system down there. It broke down some time ago and management changed it up to a tune of 90,000. But here we are again. Power board is bent, so there is no light passing through the machine.
It's on the backdrop of these challenges that the overlord of the Wala state, Nafuseni Siedu Pelipu IV, through his delegation, appealed for agent support from government after visiting the facility.
1917 hospital, metamorphosed into a regional hospital, and look at where we are now. We are not making progress. We are rather going back. But the first president of this country told us that forward ever, backwards never. And we are regressing in this modern age of technology. Honorable Minister, get up and help us. We are pleading. We are pleading.
Community members have backed the appeal, saying improved health services will directly impact livelihood and reduce preventable deaths in the area. Hospital management hopes renewed investment in infrastructure and modern medical equipment will improve patient safety and ensure the facility continues to provide quality health care to the growing population it serves. Ibrahim Wangara, TV3 News, Wa.
Now we're still staying in the Upper West region, but rather some unfortunate news as fire has swept through the girls' dormitory of the Wa Islamic Senior High School in the Upper West region, displacing scores of students and destroying their personal belongings. The incident occurred at around 7:30 p.m. on Sunday after most students had left their dormitories for their classrooms. Information indicates that sparks were detected in the dormitory while a few students were still inside, prompting school authorities to raise the alarm and call the Ghana National Fire Service and the police. Now, according to the Ghana National Fire Service, the fire has now been contained. No injuries or fatalities were recorded in the incident, but several students have lost their belongings and have been left traumatized. The affected students have been asked to return home temporarily, while the remaining boarding students have been relocated to available classroom blocks. Now to some entertainment stories. It was a blend of culture and tradition as TV3 launched the official theme song for the most iconic reality show in Ghana, Ghana's Most Beautiful, last night. The 20th anniversary theme song was graced by Ghana's new sensational Enam and Michael Adagba, the talented composers behind the official Ghana's Most Beautiful 20th anniversary theme song. The colorful event was graced by the Chief Executive Officer of Media General Beatrice Ajiman, who cut the anniversary cake, officially bringing to life another episode of GMB 2026. The Sunday night event was also used to unveil the 16th contestant for the year's edition. Michael Dagba and Enam also performed the anniversary theme song to the administration and admiration of all. Wish the contestants the very best as they begin the journey. Now, away from that, limited access to adolescent-friendly health clinics is undermining adolescent knowledge of sexual and reproductive health services and sexually transmitted infection. Thus, a study that has been found. The report therefore commends the government and the health authorities for expanding adolescent-friendly health concerns to more health facilities nationwide. There's more in the following reports.
Spearheaded by ActionAid Ghana and the Young Urban Women Movement, the nationwide assessment found that only 56 of 465 health facilities, representing 12% in selected districts across 7 regions, operated limited access to adolescent-friendly health concerns. Many adolescents are reluctant to seek sexual and reproductive health services because they fear stigma, embarrassment, or being judged by healthcare workers, parents, or community members. The survey also found out that boys were less confident in accessing adolescent sexual and reproductive health services. More worrying, the survey finds that menstrual health support is deeply unequal, as some girls resort to rags or tissue paper for menstrual hygiene management. Evelyn Amwakun, the Deputy Director of Nursing Services at Ministry of Health, lauded the team for the findings, promising that Ministry of Health would take them into considerations.
The Ministry of Health recognizes the important role of adolescent-friendly health corners in providing young people with appropriate information, counseling services, and also the need to support healthy decision-making and positive health outcomes. And the report that is being disseminated today will provide valuable evidence to help us understand and guide investments where they are needed most.
The Women's Rights and Advocacy Manager at ActionAid Ghana, Eugenia Aishetu Ayagiba, said they supported the team to amplify their voices on adolescent issues.
Bodily autonomy is one of the key thematic areas for them, where they are talking about their choices, their body, their choices, and so for us it's an important aspect of their work, and we needed to amplify that.
The event themed From Evidence to Action, Advancing Adolescent-Friendly Health Services in Ghana, comes at a critical time when Ghana and the global community are celebrating efforts towards achieving Sustainable Development Goal SDG 3, good health and well-being, and SDG 5, gender equality.
Now, President John Dramani Mahama has arrived in Kingston, Jamaica to begin a 4-day official state visit aimed at strengthening the historic bond between Ghana and Jamaica while deepening cooperation between Africa and the Caribbean in the advancement of the reparation agenda. The president arrived at the Dorman Marlin International Airport on Sunday, where he was received with official honors by a high-level Jamaican delegation led by Ambassador Grant Sandra. She's the chief state protocol at the Office of the Prime Minister, and Ghana's High Commissioner to Jamaica, His Excellency Kofi Atto. President Mahama was accompanied by the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, Deputy Minister for Defense, Ernest Brojajemfi, and Ghana's High Commissioner to Jamaica. The visit is expected to further consolidate the long-standing diplomatic, cultural, and economic relationship between Ghana and Jamaica, while expanding cooperation between Ghana and the Caribbean community. It also follows Ghana's recent humanitarian assistance to Jamaica after a devastating natural disaster, reaffirming Ghana's commitment to supporting its Caribbean partners during times of crisis and recovery. A major highlight of the visit will be the President's participation in the high-level reparation dialogue at the University of West Indies Mona campus. And that's how we end News Morning here on TV3. For more news, please check our website at 3news.com. I am Enjunam Haliga. New Day continues.
That's into the song.
Yeah.
You like
That's
it too?
Quite a marvelous one. A lot of it has happened over the weekend, so we use this one to soothe our soul, so to speak.
Yes.
You know, Shatterfest was cancelled.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, you know, when you're a Shatter fan, I love Shatter and I love Stonebwoy at the same time. So when I go to the camp of Shatter and I mention Stonebwoy, there's fight.
Yeah.
Now when I go to the other side too, there's fight.
But as at now, there's no deaths reported, right? I know there was a stampede, but no deaths reported.
No deaths reported.
That's great.
Those ones were overzealous people on
Yeah.
social media who were reporting that, yeah.
So, yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah, so we're beginning a brand new week as well. Fuel prices have just been increased so overnight. So
I saw that last night.
It will be reflecting at the pumps across board. But some of the fuel outlets have already displayed the new prices.
Yes, I bought mine at the new price yesterday. Last night, it was after 9 p.m. when I bought it.
Okay,
yes.
great. You bought your fuel at 9 p.m.?
Yes, because I went for GMB.
Because you went for GMB.
Yes, and I normally...
You are excused. I wanted to give you ratatatatata, but no problem.
Yeah, normally where I buy it from, the 95, RON 95 is 16.7.
You buy RON 95?
I buy RON 95 because I know it's good for the engine. So, and then I had done my liters and how much it was going to cost. And I
buy the normal one.
I checked the dashboard again and it was 16.79 or so. So I had to redo my calculation and just all of that.
Yeah,
yes.
And over the weekend, the Minister of Education was at the Pope John's Secondary and Seminary School.
Yes.
And importantly, he tried to, or he did, reiterate the point that the Ministry of Education and vice versa, the government, was not making the studies of Arabic as well as Chinese compulsory. And I don't know what speculations there were, but I think that studying Arabic and Chinese is very important.
Yes.
Even though French is also quite important. Because now we trade on the corridors. First, you go through the Middle East, then you get to China, which is one of our major retail.
And I was actually saying it here 2 weeks ago that the Chinese is investing, they are investing heavily in Africa. So it only makes sense that we learn the language. But I'm hearing that it's not compulsory.
Yes, it's not supposed to be compulsory. But if you find it on the curriculum of the school that your child is attending, I think that you should take advantage of it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because it's very important for you to be in a position where you can speak the language. And then when it comes to trade and commerce at the international level, particularly when it comes to supply chain industry, if you tend to work there or you will even participate there, then it also means that you need to speak the language. And I have to say kudos to the number of Ghanaians who have lived in China, but now trade with China as well, especially young people. I have to say even under 40 people, particularly because I live on TikTok virtually, because you find that, especially for those who tend to do the logistics and the supplies from manufacturers in China with small business units and go to the various provinces or cities to go and source for the product, they speak Chinese.
Yes.
One particular person who is a socialite, but also a business person, is Abadop, and she speaks Chinese.
Wow.
So it's not a very bad thing at all.
Oh, yes.
And there are many Ghanaians who have been trained, medical professionals, engineers, etc., and they speak Chinese.
And it will amaze you. If you go to Europe, a lot of Europeans are equally learning the language.
Yeah, because they know what is there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I even saw a story recently. I haven't confirmed it yet because I didn't see it on any of the major portals that one of Donald Trump's grandchildren was learning Mandarin, the official
Mandarin, yeah. They have Cantonese and Mandarin.
The official
Chinese
language. So there's nothing wrong with it. Yes.
Not true.
Yeah, but for me, the question will be, how are we going to implement it? Because language is not just about learning how to speak and write it. It is also about the culture and the spirit behind it.
Fantastic.
So you need to be able to get all of that together, and then you're a full language.
French.
Doria.
You kill us.
But yes, like you said, it's a good initiative. So like you said, take advantage of it when there's the opportunity.
And I think that we need to discuss at this point, if we can, alongside the fuel prices as well, what people think about it. But more importantly, what they make of the introduction or reintroduction, so to speak, particularly the addition of Chinese apart from Arabic, which already is studied at the Islamic schools. But now that is going to be in mainstream curricula by the Ministry of Education or the Ghana Education Service by extension. What added value it also brings to the young people or the pupils who will be studying it, and generally the future of trade and commerce.
I'm just
in
looking
Ghana.
at, a lot of children taking advantage of international job openings because, I mean, it helps. Yes.
Yeah.
And when you, especially those from North African countries, they speak Arabic, they speak French, they speak English, at least these three. And perhaps there are local ones as well. So when there are other opportunities, they tend to take a lot more advantage of it. But West Africans, you're just okay with your English.
We're very dormant
with your French. So
yes,
it's good to start at an early stage.
Very good.
Who knows where you may be.
And if you join that also, we're grateful that you have, because after we've looked at the This Morning segment, we'll also mainstream into the big issue discussions, and after that we'll look at the latest sports headlines and bring you some latest tidbit as well. For big issues this morning, you know that there's a Constitution Review Committee report for which a government has issued a position paper, for which, based on the recommendations of the Constitution Review Committee led by Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh, a number of items, recommendations were made for the Constitution to be amended, and a number of them are there already in the public domain. But for this morning, we want to again discuss the thorny subject matter of dual citizenship and the recommendation, and of course subsequent acceptance by the government position paper. Of course, it will go through some processes of referendum or elections as well, or voting, so to speak, because those are entrenched clauses in the 1992 Constitution. And this one focuses on dual citizenship, which ultimately will mean that Ghanaians with dual citizenship could have allegiance to other countries and Ghana, but more importantly, will be able to occupy important sensitive positions, with the exception of being the President of the Republic of Ghana.
I wish we had added Attorney General and Foreign Affairs Ministry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it means that they could occupy everything else, including being Chief Justice, and then even being the head of the military, etc., and all that. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. We'll get to discuss the pros and cons, and then we'll get to look at the concern that has been raised by a former Attorney General, Godfred Dame, who is indicating that there seem to be two sets of laws for two sets of people in Ghana. And again, his reaction following the Sedina Tamaklo Ationu case and the judgment by the Court of Appeal. So we'll discuss that. We're going to have Fred Agbenyo, Kwesi Kwarteng, a lawyer as well, and then Andrew Apia Dankwa, who is also a regular and a legal practitioner.
And of course, you'll expect that.
Exciting.
We'll bring you the latest updates in the world of sports and some more. So you want to stay glued to your set as we bring you more. But welcome to the This Morning segment, where, of course, we'll be looking at the Ministry of Education statements clarifying that the learning or introduction of Arabic and Chinese is not compulsory for children in schools. We'll be bringing you details of that statement coming from the Ministry of Education. But yes, it's a brand new week and we're giving out cash. Last week, we gave you 5,000 Ghana cedis to 2 of you, plus the 200 cedis to 10 of you. Today, we're giving you 500 Ghana cedis to 3 of you. Last Friday was MG Jackpot, but today you just follow the normal routine. *439#, you follow the prompt, you pick number 2, which is your favorite station, TV3. I mean, to get 500 cedis for the beginning of the week, I think it's a fair deal.
Good lunch money.
Yes.
This one, you can spend it well.
Yes.
You can go to some of the top hotels, at least some Marriott, and have some good lunch.
Yes. So keep playing, *439#. Roland will tell you play more than 40 times.
Yeah.
But perhaps you can play up to 100 times. Who knows? 3 of you, 500 Ghana cedis. Let's see how much you're able to get out of it. And hopefully, if you play early and we get to see a lot more of your numbers on the dashboard, we could do our first draw at the end of the big issue. So keep playing, and once again, welcome to This Morning segment.
administer justice without fear or favor. And Ghana must learn to uphold and respect the tenets of a fearless and independent judiciary, but at the same time, a judiciary that exerts accountability from its public office holders.
And you just watched right there the Minister for Education, the Honorable Haruna Idrisu. And I was telling you earlier that there's a statement coming from his office. I think Roland will take us through that on the dashboard. Roland, what are the details of that?
This statement invariably is trying to reaffirm and again give some assurances to all and sundry, particularly those parents as well as guardians and the key stakeholders in education who have been criticizing this and that announcement. That is not compulsory, particularly when it comes to the subject matter of teaching Arabic in mainstream schools beyond just Islamic schools, even though others have varied reasons why they are advocating that should be implemented. And this release also gets to clarify what the concern has been, because the government's language of instruction policy for basic schools follows public discussions, and then also what has been tracked by the Ministry of Education based on this important press release or public statement, that so far those discussions are laced with a lot of misconceptions, and this is in regard of the use of Ghanaian and foreign languages in the country's education system. The statement then goes on to continue that the proposed revised curriculum, Ghanaian languages will have a mainstay and they will serve as the primary medium of instruction from kindergarten to primary 3. And the policy, according to this release, is intended to strengthen children's foundational literacy as well as critical thinking and overall cognitive development, which will enable them to learn in a language, according to the Ministry of Education, they would understand during their formative years. And again, the statement continues that from primary 4 to 6, both Ghanaian languages and English will continue to be the main medium of instruction. And then arts, however, that's the current policy as announced of bilingual approach is all designed to help a smooth transition to higher levels of education, where English assumes a bigger role and still a mainstay when it comes to medium of instruction. However, preserving learners' ability and competence in Ghanaian languages, and then continues by again indicating that the ministry further is clarifying that foreign languages such as French, Arabic, and Chinese, among others, are not compulsory subjects, and that they will be offered on an optional basis. And because the language policy, according to the ministry, is also informed by what is internationally accepted, they also encourage all and sundry parents, teachers, school authorities, media organizations, and the public generally to disregard any misinformation suggesting that foreign languages have been made compulsory in the proposed revised curriculum. And they end by saying they're committed to all there are, particularly when it comes to implementing evidence-based education policies that improve learning outcomes and then equip children. I don't know what you make about or what you make of it, but this is the decision and then also the communication coming from the Ministry of Education. And particularly for those who are guardians, it also means that for those who tend to use L1 and L2 languages for learning, either at the pedagogy level or also increasing towards when they get to the upper primary level, the medium of instruction will still be English local to make sure they pick the best out of it. And this is clarified by the Ministry of Education. Beatrice,
yes,
it's very
indeed.
important.
Yes, very important. But like you said, why wouldn't you want to take advantage of it just so that your child is equipped to meet the demands of the competitive society now? But okay, a number of you have sent in your messages and we'll be reading them very shortly. But let's get the view of Dr. Peter Anti, who is the Executive Director for IFEST. Doc, if you can hear us, good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, Beatrice.
I think 2 weeks ago we spoke about this. You mentioned earlier you didn't want to comment on it, but now there is clarification, as it were, from the Education Ministry. What are your thoughts now?
Thank you very much. I think that the confusion emanated from the fact that there's a practice in our education system where policies are just announced during press briefings. What we have observed as a think tank is that when that is done, media people pick it from the perspective they understand, and then they put it out. Under normal circumstances, policies are supposed to be announced, especially in the education sector, by a policy paper or a policy brief. So if you go to most of the internet, in the global stage, these policies that are announced by various ministries are done through a policy brief. It is very difficult to misquote a policy brief because you would have to reference it. But in Ghana, what our ministers normally do is that they communicate this one through press briefing. So when they do that, people pick it in a way that they understand, and then they walk to town with it. So this problem was created by the ministry itself. When NACA visited the minister and then handed over the curriculum to the minister, a whole lot of comments were made during that particular interaction where the media was also present. And these kinds of information was picked from there. We know that in our system, from KG to basic 3, the child is supposed to be taught in L1, what they call the mother tongue or language that the child appreciates. And then when the child is transitioning from basic 3 to basic 4 up to basic 6 and then upward, there is a switch to the English language as the medium of instruction. And then the new curriculum came in and have introduced these other foreign languages, which I know are supposed to be optional. So that the child or the parent or the school system that wants that have the teachers in the first place, that have the teachers, because you would have to get the requisite teachers to teach that particular language, and at the same time get the materials to be able to use them in the teaching of that language. And we know that in this country, we lack teachers even for the local languages that we are supposed to use to teach. In some communities, we do not have the teachers there. So introducing these new, foreign languages and projecting it as if the children were going to be exposed to them was problematic. And I believe that the clarification that has come is very good. Of course, if you have the Arabic teachers in the school, you have teachers who are being trained to teach Chinese, which I know there are some universities that have started doing the Chinese, where the people are being trained to go and teach Chinese. If you have teachers who are being trained to teach the other languages, then you can pilot this and see how effective this can be. You also agree with me that in some of our private schools, the children are exposed to the other languages. Okay, so that in itself is not a bad thing, but the way it was communicated made it look like this is supposed to be compulsory, running alongside the English language that is being taught, and then the other, the local language that the teachers are supposed to use to teach their children. And that is why a lot of people came out to express their discontent with that, because you don't have the teachers to teach it. So if you are going to make it compulsory, you are projecting it as if that is something that the children will be exposed to, then you are going to create problem for the system. But if you are going to pilot it, and we will get the requisite teachers with the materials to enable the children to also appreciate, be bilingual or multilingual, let me put it, be multilingual, I think that it is a step in the right direction. But we should be very careful when we are communicating some of these policies, because it always creates problem in the public's mind, and all these confusions emanate from that.
You're praising this as one in a good direction. Let's talk about some of the things that we were even talking about before you joined us. Others feel that, for instance, learning the Chinese language could be very good for Ghana because of the kind of investment that the Chinese are having in Africa. What are your views? Because now there's Chinese, there's Arabic, and then also French.
one, for French, we know that it's been with us for all these years. I did French when I was in basic school, long time ago. So French has been with us for all these years. I think that we are looking at the global dynamics and then the power shifts in the global system, and you see China playing a very crucial role. One thing that people are not aware is that there are universities in this country that are now running education programs in Chinese. That is training teachers to teach Chinese. Okay, I think people are not aware. So when you have that in your public universities and tertiary institutions, then you know that definitely you will have this kind of thing coming in your basic education system, because these teachers, when they are trained, of course, maybe the focus is to get them to China to go and help, but also you can recruit them within our system and then use them because of the enormous power that China is now generating in the global space. It is good to make the child globally competitive. It is very good to do that, but we need to get it right. One thing that we should also be very careful is that with the English language, we already have a problem. Last year, there was a report on Global Proficiency Index, and that report clearly indicated that countries like Ghana have a problem with speaking the language more than reading the language. So you see our kids are able to read, but when it comes to expressing, it was very difficult for our children to express themselves in the language. And that was attributed to how we do the switch from the basic primary, from the lower primary, KG to primary 3, and then they switch to the English language. And you know that it's a little bit complicated for the child to switch directly from a local language that he or she is being taught to the English language. So if we are introducing other languages, we should pay attention to that, because already we are having problems with the children's ability to express themselves in the English language. How much would we be able to do to get them to also express themselves in French and then in the Chinese and Arabic that we want them to? So we should learn from the challenges that we have gotten from the introduction of the English language in our school system, and build on that to make sure that Chinese, for example, we are pushing the children to appreciate it in a way that will make it useful for their own personal future. But as I said, this should be on a pilot basis. We should have about, let's say, 10 schools in the country going through this, so that we know how the implementation will go, and then we will learn from it before we expand it to other schools. That is also another challenge with our system. We hardly do piloting, and when we roll these out in a broader sense, we will have problems.
Do I hear you say that since we already have a problem with the English language, which is our official language, perhaps we should work on that first before we think of moving to the other languages that we're introducing now, aside from the piloting example that you gave?
Exactly. That is what is supposed to be done. This report was released just last year, I think November. Unfortunately, our system, as I always say, our leaders normally don't want to solve problems. So,
but Doc, within what period? Within what period? A month, 1 year, for you to perfect the challenges with the English language before you move on?
No, the point is that, you know, most of the students in the public schools, let me put it that way, most of the students in the public schools have problems with expressing, okay? And then our children in the private schools are able to express themselves. I think any observer would attest to what I'm saying. Now, the issue is that in the private schools, the children are exposed to the English language right from the beginning of their education, from KG nursery there about the language of interaction is the English language. But because the language policy of our country says that at that level, the students should be taught in a language that he or she is familiar. In the public schools, they are taught more with the local language than the English language. And that is why the report indicated that when the children are transitioning from class 3 to class 4, the street becomes very difficult, and that affects them in later times in their education, where they find it very difficult to express themselves in the English language. So what normally should be done, and some of us believe in that, but of course the language people, I have a lot of language friends who disagree with me. But this is my personal opinion. I think that we should allow the students to express, to be taught in the English and the local language as we do in class 4, class 5, class 6. I don't think that we should restrict the teachers to, do more of the local language at the start formative ages and then switch when they are in class 4. I don't believe in that, but that is what the language people say. They say that is the best way to teach the child and so on and so forth. So you would want to let that particular go on. But we need to find a way to ensure that our children are proficient not only in reading but in writing. And that needs a lot more direction or a policy direction from the ministry to be able to do that. Unfortunately, our system doesn't allow that, or that our system pays a little attention to that. They want the children to be taught in a language that they are familiar with. But because, let me even make this argument. In this country, in recent times in urban Ghana, the child's language, the child's first language that he or she is exposed to, seems to be more of the English language than the local language in most of our families and most of our households. Children are, in the middle classes, and even in certain parts of our sub-urban Ghana, you see the children, the parents talking to the children in the English language. That is what they grow up with. Again, children are taken to school as early as 1 year, 6 months, and so on and so forth. So most of them learn how to speak in the school, and in the school they are exposed to the English language. So when we talk about the L1 and we are saying that the language the person is familiar with, we should be more careful, because in some instances the language the child is familiar with is English language, and that should be the mode of instruction to that particular child at that early level, and not the local language that we are possessing.
Let me ask you this before my last question. Earlier, I heard you express concern about availability of teachers and how we're even going to go about teaching these languages. What do you suggest? What are your proposals regarding how we can make this effective on that level of teachers?
One, so with the local languages, I think there's been a lot of attempts to get people to learn some of these local languages. I remember I heard the news about the Gadangwe language, where the MP and the local people are pushing for people to study that particular language so that it will continue to be in the system, and they will go and then teach. So we need to create some scholarship scheme and support system for people to pick up that. For the foreign languages, as I said, with the Chinese, I know that certain universities are running certain education courses in Chinese, and we will need to put certain people there to, support them to do that. And for Arabic, we would have to ask the Muslim community to also support the recruitment and then the sponsorship of people to study Arabic, because for Arabic, most of the Islamic schools require that the students are taught in that. So you will need to design a particular scheme where you will get constant supply of teachers to teach that particular course. So French has been in the system for some time, although we have issues with teachers. I think that for French we are doing well, and we should continue to push a lot more people. I believe that generally we need to get some scholarship schemes and support system for people who are pursuing these languages, so that we'll get a lot of them in the system. But for its implementation, as I've indicated earlier on, we will need to do this at a very lower level, lower scale, but like 10 to 15 schools, so that we will be able to monitor the progress, see how we are going around it, see how the students are picking, see how that is affecting their expressing in other languages that we are using. And then we can now devise a very robust means to now roll this out across the country. I think that is the way to go.
Doc, my final question to you, again, you were raising issues about how we do not issue policy releases, which eventually leads to confusion and misinterpretation of statements that are issued by respective ministries. Moving forward, what do you expect?
I expect the Ministry of Education. See, the Ministry of Education controls or is meant to develop the human capital of our country. Their policies are not supposed to be like someone sleeps and then wakes up in the morning and thinks that this is how we have to go, and then we go. Their policies are not supposed to be announced like how a president will announce a policy on a campaign trail, and then we take it and then we run with it. No. Ministries of Education that I'm familiar with, their policies are announced through policy briefs. So where there has been a policy discussing in the boardroom, at the cabinet level, at the ministry level, or the ministers have met with their various directors, and they have agreed to bring out something. What I expect is that the ministry should put out a policy brief. That policy brief will be published on the ministry's website. Every person who wants to access it can go to the website, download the policy brief, read it, and then you media people will have it easy, because at that point, all that you need to do, Roland will need to do, is to go to the website of the ministry, download the policy brief, and then read it, and then there's discussion around it. We, those in academia and civil society, will get it, use it for analysis, use it for our report writing and other things. That is how we progress as a country in terms of our educational journey. But where you make this announcement at a press briefing, you are giving a speech, and then you say it in passing, and then somebody will have to now release a press statement to correct whatever misunderstanding that people are taking from your statement. It's not the way to go, especially when it comes to the Ministry of Education. And I think that there are a lot of competent people in the ministry who can work on policy briefs as and when policies are ready, and put it out there for all of us to read, because it's not for them. Educational policies are for the people of Ghana and not for the people who are running the ministry. So we need to understand and appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Peter Anti, Executive Director for the Institute for Education Studies. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. And yes, a number of you sending in messages. I've seen so many on Facebook. But you want to go to the dashboard first, perhaps?
Yeah, we can, but if you also want to read. But I have a couple of messages, and so especially for those who are in the education sector, some educationists and then also policy analysts, bringing some good suggestions and then critiquing this new policy. Let me say good morning to you, Dr. Kofi Anoche of KAOD Consult. Good morning to you. Great gentleman by all standards. And then I have Sherry Giovanni. Somewhat good morning. He's an educationist himself, and so says, says that I think we are overburdening these little ones in the primary schools with a lot to study. Our children are struggling with the English language and other subjects like mathematics, creative art, among many others. The children will not be given the opportunity to either accept or reject these new languages, but rather those in authority will then accept them on behalf of these little ones. The new curriculum for the L1 are written in English language, and one finds that troubling. We must not experiment everything in our educational sector, and says good morning to Mariam Oga of UAW. I have this one also coming in, and says that with this local language as language of instruction, more like foreign languages as medium of instruction, I think we are copying blindly. Those countries who use their local language have their textbooks, for example, in economics, chemistry, among many others, in their local language.
Indeed, there's a message like that here.
So you can end up with a master's in, say, engineering without speaking one iota of English. And that's what is happening, and that's why they are developing. So why are we just copying all of them? It makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And then he also moves on to expand or expatiate on others as well. Then we have this one from Courage Kotuka, who says, as a matter of fact, introducing Chinese and Arabic into the curriculum is not a bad idea after all. However, the main challenge is the availability of teachers. Since French was introduced, it has been difficult to find enough qualified teachers, and many basic schools still do not have the necessary personnel. Now that the government is also introducing an additional language, will there be enough qualified teachers to teach them effectively? You have other messages?
Yes, on Facebook, Neo Datemil says, I have never seen a formal document in any local language in Ghana. Every important document is in English, and I think you read a similar message. Kofi Eric says, Bitenti has set his own questions and answering them confidently. And Ni says the thing should be French, Spanish and Chinese, and students can choose one. And then Mike Boatin says, Arabic is a language, it has nothing to do with Muslim or Islam, because there's Pa Mark, and I think he's responding to Pa Mark, who says, why is the church silence on this Arabic issue? Why are Christians always quiet? And so he's responding to him. And then there's Homado Chopa says, good morning. The Court of Appeals acquittal of Sedinam reflects judicial independence. Okay. And perhaps two more on YouTube. This is coming from Dan Men, says, a nation that sees itself as, quote, one that has nothing to offer, unquote, gullibly accept things that seems beneficial. Nationalism says, protect and project your own. It will intrigue and attract value from others. It says the Chinese did not have to adopt English in their journey of social and economic transformation. Not the Japanese, not the Russians, definitely not the Americans. So some disagreeing with that.
Well, we have a couple more messages, so we'll go through. Let me say good morning to you. And talking about education, a former deputy coordinator of the Free Senior High School Secretariat under the Akufo-Addo administration, Nana Afrasika Mensah, you're celebrating your birthday. Great lady. When she was at the Free SHS Secretariat, did great work alongside Dr. Yao Osei Duchum as well, a former Minister of Education. So the comments are coming through, so quickly just go through. Studying of languages is not a bad thing, so let us learn to speak more languages. And this by Napoleon in Tumu, who is giving us this message, specifically Sankofa base. And this one from Aopari Jayere says the Ghanaians didn't really find, or the Ghanaians haven't really found their identity yet. We're still experimenting with our educational system. The French and Arabic languages we studied in our schools, how many of them speak those languages? Somebody may study French up to university level, yet they can't speak French. And we are adding Chinese. Waste of time and resources completely, according to his opinion. And Eben from Kwabinya says, I also think our languages should be the focus at basic level. Our children must know their mother tongue. The French and Chinese should be ignored, period. Greetings to the Honorable Julius Deborah, among others. And great production, according to Mike Kalaji from Mayera, says that, please, on the dual citizens holding public office, I was of the view that we needed their expertise and investment, and therefore we should allow them hold public offices in Ghana. But with the difficulty in extraditing alleged criminals, as we are currently seeing, I think we should not accept this law. You support it in one breath and doesn't. Aziz Donla says, the decision by the Ministry of Education to introduce Arabic and Chinese, according to Aziz Dola, is perfect. It's creative and effective decision, and it's good for effective decision because of the bilateral relationship we have with the specific country that speak the language. And says Al-Haji Al-Hassan Bandu.
I'm just reading how the next one has described me.
You celebrate your birthday. Introducing Chinese and Arabic into the curriculum is not a bad idea. I've read this from Kotuka Courage, Anglogala Shibi, and then Jamie Brown said, beyond the perceived benefits of the introduction of foreign languages, I'm particularly concerned about track record and efficiency in teaching languages to make students proficient. And I think I love the word proficient. I did French from primary 1 to JSS 3, and all I know is Comment ça va? Très bien, merci. Right. as your language there. I also read Chinese 4 years in the university, and all I can say is ni hao. No, it cannot be true. You can read the go and read Chinese.
You have to be involved. In order, you have to be
they
involved.
lie.
In order
Charlie,
to,
some of these comments.
Yes, I think that now there's so many ways you can stay active when you're learning the language. But also, perhaps it's how you're taught. It's perhaps how you're taught. Because
when you went to France, how did you imbibe yourself into the language and the French? You did that in just in a year or two, right?
No, over 3 years.
Over 3 years.
Yes, but within the first 6 months already, I knew how to go. I knew my way around it.
Wow.
But you need to be involved.
Yeah, you need to be deliberate and intentional.
Yes, you need to be deliberate and intentional, and I think it's also how you're taught. A lot of the time, I've seen children come home with assignments, and the instruction is in English.
Yeah.
So I was taught totally in French, and I mean it's difficult when you start. Yes, the teachers don't speak English. They were postgraduate. They were French. So
was it an undergrad you did or postgraduate as well? Undergrad.
Yes. So it's also how
so if you have to tell our viewers that they should be willing to accept to learn new languages and allow their children to learn new languages, say that in French.
Il faut accepter d'apprendre la langue.
Fantastic.
Ouais, avec la passion, tout ce qu'il faut.
Fantastic. I don't understand it, but fantastic.
No, I'm sure you did. That was simple.
This is a simple one. This one is coming from A.B. Hammond from Wa Loho. Permit me to respectfully urge the minister to redirect attention from symbolic policy theatrics to the pressing realities confronting Ghanaian teachers. And continues, how many teachers in Ghana are currently qualified to teach the Chinese language? More importantly, which educational institutions in Ghana are producing or training such professionals to teach the language? Rather than pursuing initiatives that lack the necessary human resource capacity, priority should be given to addressing the long-standing injustice suffered by lower-ranked teachers who have remained overdue for promotion for more than 5 years.
Wow.
Rewarding dedication, competence, and years of faithful service should be the cornerstone of educational reform, not political spectacle. A.B. Hammond from...
Let me read this text message. It says, good morning, Beatrice and Mr. Roland. Please tell the Minister of Education to first and foremost recruit graduates from languages departments. That's those from Jumako campus and others before thinking of foreign languages. I just can't take... Okay, I'm sorry, I can't read the rest of it.
Education and health, eh?
Yes, it
you
says...
don't know, you play with them, you're
and
in trouble.
it was sent in by Mr. Ernest Xavier Yeng Wa. And this one on Facebook... It says, good morning, Roland. Lorry fares have been increased by the GPRTU. Is the Transport Minister aware of this? And it says, come to Koforidia to various destinations, increased by over 25%. I'm interested in finding out how you did the calculation of the 25%. But yes, perhaps I can read just a bit more sent in on WhatsApp here. I think you read the one from Aziz Donla earlier. So I'll go on to some other individuals. Prince Henry Koforidia says, good morning, TV3, the best station in Ghana. God bless you all. He didn't seem to have any opinion on the issues we are discussing. And then Dennis Akwete says, I am yet to read the said clarifying letter by GES, but how do you say that the Chinese language is not going to be compulsory when the initial announcement was that the language would be taught in the basic level, when we also know that at the moment all subjects taught at the level are compulsory, or that was not the case? If it must be done, it must be done well. Shalom.
Very interesting. Let's conclude with some other messages as well. Nana Afrasi Kamensa, former Deputy Coordinator for the Free SHS Secretariat, and Dr. Yao Osei-Duchum, former Education Minister. Have a blessed, happy birthday. Great lady, and did her bid and managed the Secretariat so well as well. And then Zilis Dwayne says, I'm watching you from the UK. Interesting topic so far. Please wish my guy a birthday. The name is Isaac Afenu, aka Jojo Hyper. And then Beatrice Brew, your namesake, says that she loves the way you're looking.
Thank
you. She wants the plug for your makeup artist. So Beatrice Brew, good morning to you. I wish you all the best for the day. My regards to Michael as well. Bonti Benjamin says that even our local language even our local language, some kids know they see top, not Chinese. Let's get serious and promote our own, according to Bonti Benjamin. PHK is also said, Roland, quite an interesting topic you are discussing. Also get to communicate to your viewers that I'm standing for the communication officer for the Eastern region for the NDC when the position is open.
I honestly, I think that I will just repeat the point that if you have the opportunity to take advantage of it, do. Because if you speak any other language, you go to a community and you speak their language. The moment they realize you speak their language with an effort to even get their accent, you just, click immediately.
Fantastic.
There's something unifying about languages. And I think the word I was looking for was immersion. You need to be immersed just to be able to pick the language. Wow,
immersion.
Yes.
Charlie, I'm in trouble because I wish PHK good word. This one too.
I read it.
Alfreda Nkwabuaje says, I'm watching you. You're only mentioning PHK. Alfreda Nkwabuaje, you're also standing for the Eastern Regional Treasurer of the MPP, and says that Obanwa Alfreda Nkwabuaje. I wish you well in your election as you get to vie for the position of Eastern Regional Treasurer for the MPP. You say you are number 3 on the ballot. Obanwa Alfreda Emudaho. Hey, Charlie.
Let me remind you that, yes, you can cash out *439#. And if you keep playing, hopefully after the big issue, we can give our first draw. The cash, we can have our first draw. So *439#, you follow the prompt. You pick number 2, your favorite platform. We're giving 500 CDs to 3 of you. But before we have the big issue, though, pick up your day, the Milky Way, with the rich, smooth taste of peck milk shortcake. It is just pure delight, and I always say, find them in grocery shops around you. Buy some for yourself and your loved ones. When we come back, Roland will be handling the big issue, and we'll bring you some more. Stay with us.
Well, Nana Afrasika Mensah is a former deputy coordinator for the Free SHS Secretariat under Dr. Yaosei Dichum, former education minister, did great work. She's celebrating her birthday. Happy birthday to you, Nana Afrasika Mensah. Great lady. Wishing you all the best. Edmond Combat's managing director for the Tama Oil Refinery. And over the weekend, the president came to commission a new catalytic plant, and then what you have done at the Tama Oil Refinery, getting great commendations from the president. Wishing all the best for the morning. Alhaji Jibril of National Security, wish you all the best for the day as well. Prince Nyania York is in the UK, wanted to go to the Shatta Wale Fest. It was supposed to be party in the park, but themed Shatta Fest 2026. And there was some commotion. The police subsequently in the UK or London decided to call the show off. Sad event. I was monitoring as well. But, well, we've also had some message from Shatta Wale's rival, Stoneboy, that this could be any bad event that could happen to any management or artists or organizers for any event as well. Remember, Stoneboy also has his event coming on the 15th of August. And for all those who tend to follow us right here, you know, we play songs from both sides. For us here, we're in the middle. We love everybody. Zilis Dwayne is also an SM for Life fan. Good morning to you. But please, we have cash out. It goes with the short code *439#. And right here on the show, we encourage you to choose option 2 when you dial *439#. You also get to be one of those lucky winners if you increase the number of tickets you have. And I tell you that when you do that, for each of the draws, 500 Ghana cedis to 1,000 for all the winners this morning. And please, you have to be part of this bonanza and become a part of those who will be winning. And let us have some great events, okay? And Big Issue is sponsored by the University of Gold Coast. It's very important for us to tell you. And for Big Issues, we also mean that please join us on our stream and let's have some great conversation. Courtesy, the segment sponsor, University of Gold Coast. Remember, they still are having admissions. And, one of our colleagues and friends who lives in the UK now was at the Shatta Fest 2026, and subsequently is updating me there were no deaths at all. Kofi, Bra Kofi, good morning to you. He's known as Bra Kofi on Facebook. He was helping some of the collapse victims, Charlie. But he's wearing BMO. Anyway, no problem at all. Let me also tell you that this morning we'll be looking at the concerns that have been raised by the former Attorney General, the distinguished Godfred Dame. And he says that following that judgment by the Court of Appeal, there seemed to be, one, the position of the Attorney General currently not to show any commitment to ensure this is overturned, despite the intent to appeal. And subsequently, he continues in a statement and publicly published by not only Media General, TV3, etc., to say that there seem to be two worlds, one for those supported by government and those not, because he feels that the prosecution was not doing the best of the work, especially to affirm the conviction at the time that it appealed this or responded to the appellant when it came to the concerns they raised or the reliefs they were seeking before the court. So we'll discuss that this morning as well. And then we'll look at dual citizenship. According to the committee that reviewed the Constitution, led by Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh, well, among others, dual citizens could take up various public positions, with the exception of the president and one or two others who apprise you of. I have Fred Agbenyo, the Member of Parliament for the Guan constituency. Good morning to you.
Good morning, my brother.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Great. You've been following the issues. I'll ask you on the dual citizenship as well. And then, of course, I have legal practitioner right here, Andrew Appiah Dankwa of the United Party. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
How is Alan Kojo Tremanting?
Alan is doing
great. Great. We'll be joined by lawyer Kwesi Kwarteng. Make sure that we have some great conversation. Yes, the Attorney General.
The current disqualification sits uneasily with our engagement with the diaspora and with the realities of modern citizenship. In line with this proposal, it is also the case that multiple citizenship will no longer disqualify a person from becoming, from holding certain, offices.
So we have the Attorney General, and Fred, what do you make of it? Dual citizens, according to the committee that did the review and the position paper issued by government, they've accepted this in total.
Well, thank you very much, Roland. Good morning to you, my brother. It's been a while.
Yeah, a long time.
And to the good people of the Guam constituency and Ghanaians as a whole. Dual citizenship, this conversation has come up for discussion several times. People have expressed their views on it. One school of thought believe that we should allow the current status quo to remain, that if you want to hold key executive positions in Ghana and you hold the dual citizenship, then you must renounce one of the citizenship and become a full Ghanaian, so to speak, before you are allowed to hold some positions. Others think that, well, once you're a Ghanaian, wherever you are, regardless of whichever citizenship, country you hold allegiance to, you'll still be able to come to Ghana and come and contribute. A constitutional review commission has been put in place. They have come up with their recommendation. And they think that where we are now, all Ghanaians should be allowed the opportunity to hold executive position regardless of their allegiance to other nations, with the exception of vice presidential position and that of the presidential position. The debate is still going on. Government has issued a white paper saying that they agree with the recommendation that was made by the commission. There are definitely advantages and disadvantages for everything. From where I see, allowing Ghanaians who live abroad and who hold allegiance to other nations to come and contest over here, one of the things is that at least it gives us that access to global expertise. We all agree that people travel abroad, travel to other nations. They get some experiences that they may not necessarily acquire living in our country. And so when such persons return home to come and hold some executive position, they're able to bring those expertise to bear in whichever capacity they hold. Another advantage may be international network. Because you have lived abroad, because you belong to that particular society as well, it gives you opportunity to bring whatever network you have back to Ghana in the discharge of the new role and responsibilities that you are given. These persons who live abroad, regardless of their current status, we all know, contribute significantly to this economy. The remittances that come from them, if you go and check, huge sums of money. And so now that they know that, yes, they have the opportunity to even come physically to come and serve in government, so that it is not only their monetary contributions that will be coming, but their expertise, their networks and everything. I think it will help the country. Of course, transfer of skills and innovation. These persons, again, as I said, they live in more advanced countries. They are exposed to, some skills and some expertise that, given the opportunity, they can bring to bear when they get opportunity to come and serve in this country. It also strengthens our diplomacy with other nations. Again, we can talk about the fact that there's that level of equal citizenship, that you are a Ghanaian. Maybe for whatever reason you decided to go and stay in the UK or in the US or whatever it is, and you hold citizenship over there. But you are still a Ghanaian first and foremost, as prescribed by the Constitution. Your parents are from here, your grandparents are from here, and so that makes you a Ghanaian. And so it gives that opportunity for equal citizenship. Some concerns have been raised that you can call disadvantage of this, people holding dual citizenship and holding executive position, is the fact that it can bring about conflict of loyalty. Where is your loyalty? In terms of maybe conflict, when there's a problem between the two countries that you belong to, where will your loyalty be? God forbid, assuming Ghana and
Togo.
Assuming Ghana and Togo, we have an issue today. Maybe
we are at war.
Or we are at war, and then you are a dual citizen. Maybe you are the chief justice, or you are the commander, the armed forces commander, or even the IGP of the country. Where will your loyalty be? Will it be to Togo or will it be to Ghana? That is one of the issues that has come up. And of course, there are national security concerns, because once you hold some executive positions, you are privy to sensitive information that not ordinary Ghanaians may have access to. Now again, how are you able to manage this information so that it doesn't impact on the nation negatively? Of course, issue of public trust is also another concern to people. That can we truly trust you? That this worker that sits in front of me, we all know is from Benin, everything, and it's also a Ghanaian, where we give him a sensitive position to hold. Can we trust him that he will serve Mother Ghana diligently? He will serve, his focus, attention, everything will be on Ghana or that other country. Of course, there are legal and constitutional conflicts that may come up again. And so, from where I sit, I am indifferent, really, about the subject matter. The only thing is that those who get such opportunities must demonstrate that the decision we are taking today is not a bad decision, and that fidelity to this country, their loyalty will be to Mother Ghana. They will contribute effectively to Mother Ghana. For me, that will be the most important thing. So let's experiment with it and see. After a number of years, we'll be able to come around a table like this and have a better conversation.
Yeah.
And we can then conclude whether the decision we have taken today is good or not. I remember a few weeks ago, even the Council of State had a concern about this particular issue, where they even wrote to Parliament and all that one wanted to pass this particular bill on this dual citizenship issue. But now there is a commission of constitutional review that has made a recommendation, and government has issued a white paper accepting that particular recommendation. We can only wait and see how it pans out in the coming years. But I pray that those who return home with their expertise, who return home with their network, who return home with the new skills that they've acquired, will be able to put it to good use. Anytime you travel abroad, you meet Ghanaians who live there. They are doing wonderful express,
extremely.
Yes, they are doing very, very well in almost every facet of society that you can mention. And so if these persons know, because sometimes the difficulty really that, Roland, they want their children to remain there, have access to better education, access to better healthcare, housing, everything that we can talk about abroad. And so for them to renounce their nationality and come back to Ghana becomes a challenge for them. So now that we say, okay, you know what, you can still hold that citizenship, you can still return to Ghana and come and contribute to building this country. I don't think necessarily that it will have any negative impact on our society. But as I said, it is early yet. We need to experiment it. After 5 years or so, we'll be able to come around and say, okay, the decision that we took is a good one, or we have to go back to the current state in which we are. So this will be the preliminary comments I will make on this particular issue. Thank you.
All right. Good exposition. And one of the communicators of the MPP, Lawyer Kwesi Kwarteng, is here. Good morning to you, Lawyer Kwesi Kwarteng. How are you? I'm sure you've been following the Sedina Ationu Court of Appeal judgment. We'll discuss that invariably after we've done. He used to be your friend. He used to be your friend.
He allow me to greet.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
How are you managing?
I'm fine. I'm doing well.
Great. And I'm sure you've also cited this as well. But let me just give what do you make of this? I mean, the Kwesi Prempeh committee did this. The government has issued the position paper on this. Invariably, it means that if it's mainstream into our laws, we have to do some amendments subsequently to the Constitution. But the subject matter will be allegiance, dual citizenship, but it is practiced in other countries as well. I don't know what you make of it.
So,
I know at least Solomon doesn't agree on this.
Let me wish your lovely viewers a good morning. Wish yourself a good morning. Always a pleasure to be hosted by you. It's a long time since I saw my brother, my learned friend and brother Kwesi. Kwesi, always a pleasure to share this platform with you. And then to my own big brother,
he's an MP.
Honorable. Yeah, I think my position on this issue is pretty consistent. Let me say first and foremost that I hold a view that when it comes to developing this nation, then our arms must be open to everybody that is a Ghanaian to play their role in developing our country. Indeed, Ghanaians have shown over the years in their sojourn to other places that under the right circumstance, they have what it takes to bring about a real development. Also, Ghanaians that have gone outside have shown consistent commitment to the cause of this nation. You see that commitment in the extent to which they bring cash into the country, to the extent that it is one of the biggest sources of foreign exchange in a country. But having said that, and consistent with my position, there are so many avenues in which you can serve Ghana beyond what's called some public offices, like being president or being an MP or not. There are so many ways you can serve, and so open our arms to everybody who is a Ghanaian should be looked at in a broader context than just in public, in the political service sense. Okay. Now, when you read what's it called, the position, as in the recommendation position, I see a fundamental contradiction. Because you see, it's like, so a dual citizen can be an MP, a dual citizen can be a minister, can even be a CJ. No, so but it can be CJ. Can be CJ. I think it can be. Let's be sure. Is the president
cannot be a president?
Now the and vice president. But it is clear that all the ministers of state are really the agents of the president. Every minister is an agent of the president. They are using
in representative capacity,
but they are agents of the president. And when you're an agent, it is as if it's the president himself acting. So if you say the president can't hold dual citizenship and his minister can't be a dual citizen, in my opinion, there's a fundamental contradiction there, because the president is not positional. You are there to serve a function, to serve. So that if, for whatever reason, you think that by the nature and function of the president, he ought to be somebody whose loyalty is just to Ghana, who is not serving two masters, then why do you think somebody who's using the powers of the president and acting as if it was the president acting can be a dual citizen? For me, I see a fundamental contradiction there. You understand? And it probably stems from how we see leadership as positional, as against service. So that if we think that because of the nature of the function of the president, he cannot hold a dual citizen, he cannot serve two masters, his allegiance only ought to be to Ghana. I do not see why we should allow ministers to be dual citizens. There must be some consistency in the policy. The policy must be is a word equivocal. It must say just one thing. It can't be saying more than one thing. Two, we have a constitution that says that majority of the ministers must be from parliament. Indeed, one of the key qualification for who becomes a minister is that he's somebody who also qualifies to be a parliamentarian. So that if we think that the system that we are operating, that has divided powers of government, and the parliamentarians are using or have the powers to make laws and more or less serve as a check on the executive. And where once you become a parliamentarian, there's a high chance that you may be considered to be a minister. And where you're a minister, you're using the powers of the president. Powers for which we think that you cannot use those powers and be a dual citizen. Because that's the reason why we see the power of president there. You must just be a Ghanaian. You understand? Then what kind of philosophical basis?
Well, the vice president cannot be, according to...
because the vice president and the president are one ticket. And two, the vice president can act. When the president can act, and where the president for whatever reason passes, the vice president becomes. But I'm saying that the ministers are all agents of the president. They are using executive powers. They are using powers that really are the president's powers. And when they act as if it were the president acting. You understand? So then we cannot have a policy or a reason that says that if you want to be president, then you can't have divided allegiance. You can't have two masters.
Think about it. When the president is not around, vice takes over. When the vice is not around, the speaker will take over. But the speaker now is allowed.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. There's a fundamental contradiction
on the policy.
On the policy, a fundamental contradiction. Yeah, you understand? And so, like I'm saying, there are so many ways. It's same as people's service. In my opinion, service to Ghana does not necessarily mean that you have to be president, you have to be an MP. There are so many avenues in which you can serve a country. You understand? Even opposition is service. Even opposition is service. And I've said that in my opinion, MPP did so much. I'm coming. MPP did too much. And they did, we saw the best of the MPP during 92 and 2000. Because their opposition during that period advanced the cause of this democracy more than any other period in the history of this country. You understand? The so-called the MPP cases that advanced the cause of a entrenched democracy in this country. So can anybody tell me that if you're opposition, you can't serve? It's the way we see things. It's the way, as we are not looking at the bigger picture. We see things very narrow. You understand? But when you see the bigger picture, in terms of if really your commitment is to serve the country, then there are so many ways in which we can serve Ghana without necessarily being president. But then you see, we are creating a culture. And what a culture that is consistent. We want a culture which is not contradictory. And I'm saying that the philosophical, well, there's a reason why they proposed that if you are president, you can't have any other citizenship apart from Ghana. There's a reason. You understand? So yes, to make my position clear, my position is that we should open the country up and allow all Ghanaians who have the commitment, who have the skill set to come and join hands in building our country. And they must understand that you can serve without necessarily being a politician or be. And if the argument is that if you are president, then you must only be a Ghanaian. You understand? Then anybody who is the agent of the president, who's holding because they are using the powers of the president to advance the function of the president. And that same reason must appear there. So for me, so I disagree with that view. And like I said, I hold, and I've said it on the platform before, I think that we should allow Ghanaians from all walks of life to serve this country. But they ought to understand that there are so many ways in which you can serve without necessarily taking on political what's called position, because it's so sensitive. The position, the functions there are so sensitive that we cannot have people who serve two masters. Scripture itself says that you cannot serve two masters. You certainly love one and hate the other. And where we are as a country, we need people whose unalloyed commitment is towards the nation's cause. Unalloyed commitment is to the nation's cause. You understand? Okay. And we must also see some consistency in the policies we make. We can't have policies that contradict itself. Essentially, that's
I don't know what you think. This has been a long-standing issue, and I remember, as far as my mind will serve me, there was a Kospio Gabra. I think prior to just after the 1996 election, was supposed to have been appointed a minister in Parliament during the vetting. You open it up for individuals to also write to the committee and subsequently, and his citizenship was questioned as a result of that. He wasn't subsequently appointed and had to go and rescind. And since then we've had this argument. Now to the point that with the exception of the president and the vice, we have the Chief Justice, the head of the Electoral Commission of Ghana, the Speaker of Parliament, and subsequently you can mainstream it to others as well, where you don't have to rescind your citizenship. The argument that has been made and canvassed by Ghanaians in the diaspora is that I mean, they just don't play a human resource role. They also play a vital economic role. And indeed, over the last 15 years, remittances from those abroad have formed a vital revenue, receipts for the Republic of Ghana, shoring up particularly our currency and forex, so to speak. And so they just play a role beyond just good human resource.
All right, Roland, thank you once again, and good morning once again to my honorable brother and friend, and to my senior too, my senior at the bar. I think it's not only even Gabra who has had issues with the Dual Citizenship Act or the Dual Citizenship Act. If you recall, someone like Adamu Dramani Sakande, he even had to go to jail subsequently. And but yeah, Judge Equation too was confronted with a similar instance. I think it's recently. But I am always biased towards the diaspora. My case is that first, they are even citizens of Ghana first. And if you look at the law on dual citizenship, I've always maintained that it belonged to a completely different era. And so context is very important. You see, those were the era, Roland, where we had a lot of constitutions that has been jettisoned. And so in making the 1992 constitution, the biggest consideration was for political stability. And so matters of affiliation became very prominent. And not only affiliation, but matters of loyalty was very prominent then. So that we can look into Roland's face and say that if Roland is a dual citizen, we cannot trust fully his loyalty to Ghana. So we have to situate the context within the era in which the law was made. And even as at now, there has been several efforts that we've made a lot of progress as at now. If we look at the various constitutional reviews, the one set up by Professor Mills was Professor Commission. His own was Albert Fiajo, Professor Albert Fiajo. Then President Akufo-Addo too was Mrs. Clara Basa-Kasati. And even more recently, is Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh. All of them has proposed something with a similar semblance, that we should really look at the whole issue about dual citizenship. Originally, if we read the Article 8, as was inserted in the 1992 Constitution, you realize that even the rights that accrue to dual citizens was not even existent in the first place. And Roland, with the permission, I read, subject to this article, a citizen of Ghana shall cease forthwith to be a citizen of Ghana if on attaining the age of 21 years, he by voluntary act other than marriage acquires or retains the citizenship of a country other than Ghana. So in 1992, if you wanted to even be a citizen of another country, automatically you forfeit your status as a citizen of Ghana. But gradually there was a progress. In 96, if you look at the first page of the Constitution, you know that in 96 there was an amendment to our Constitution. Then by the act of the amendment, now Article 8 of the Constitution was repealed and the following was inserted: that a citizen of Ghana may hold the citizenship of any other country in addition to his citizenship of Ghana. So at that time, the fears that we had in 1992 was not so much prominent in 1996.
Why do you think so?
Because we felt that the era of political instability gradually was reducing. And now we're attaining much of political stability. So therefore, we're not so much threatened on the subject of loyalty to the country or allegiance. Now, it has more to do with how we can be able to develop our country. So the context, that's why I said that the law then belonged to a different era. But this day, we are in a global world. Talents are being hunted. We have Ghanaians who are doing so wonderful in the US, in Hong Kong, in China, which first of all, they are Ghanaians first. Again, I want to make the point that when we talk about allegiance or patriotism, it is not measured, and at no point should allegiance or patriotism be measured by the passport that you hold. That if you hold two passports, automatically you are not allegiant. Indeed, and I've always argued and maintained that the highest form of offense and crime ever stated in our Constitution has always been treason. Yeah. Treason has never been committed by a dual citizenship in the history of Ghana. All the highest form of offense that has been committed against Ghana has always been done by Ghanaians.
But what about other countries? They're particularly...
No, the context of the conversation for me is Ghana, yes. Okay. So if you look at the highest, even corruption, The people have argued that, oh, when they steal and they are citizens of other country, they should be able to flee to another country. See, the people that steal in this country are not dual citizens. So most of the fears that we have, they are completely unfounded if we are being very objective and not being sentimental. If you want to measure the commitment of every other person, it should be by the person's conduct. It is a more reason why, Roland, you need to put safeguard mechanisms so that you don't just leave people on integrity tests to their own discretion, but there are safeguard mechanisms and systems. And me, I don't agree that the country that has almost ceded every important sector of our economy to foreign nationals. Go to the extractive sector. You go to Atuabo here, ENI, an Italian company, is extracting our oil. You go to Takwa, is it Anglo Gold or Goldfields, the South African company?
Goldfields.
Yeah, Goldfields. They are extracting our gold. Our telcos is MTN, that is the biggest giant. Even the food we import, go to even road construction, all the good roads that has been constructed in our country largely are from this foreign experts. So on one side, it looks like we are playing the ostrich game and we are just being objective and we are being sentimental.
So Quating,
yes.
I think invariably,
yes,
we have some key views from those who are watching us currently on Facebook.
Yes.
And I would want to just go through a number of them.
Very
so
well.
Mani Nimani, who lives in the UK, his children are UK citizens, but are Ghanaians invariably. He's also a UK citizen, but also a Ghanaian, invariably. Says that, just imagine our foreign minister is a dual citizen of South Africa. And then we have diplomatic tensions with South Africa. Is that going to help or not help?
I was coming there.
And then we have a Korean who is ambassador to South Korea. Look at the technology in Korea. If he was a dual citizen, at least it would just benefit us just going beyond he being a Ghanaian. And he has. And then they also add Kenuforiata, that you have a dual citizen, he holds 2 passports, he does a wrong in government, and then immediately his party is off power, he absconds.
Indeed, the facts doesn't support it. Assuming we without admitting, you have to go by his logic and assume that Kenuforiata has committed offense and he fled away. He didn't flee away as a dual citizen. He fled away as a Ghanaian citizen. So that argument doesn't suffice. When Sedona went out of the country, when she was facing trials, she didn't live here as a dual citizen. That's why I said that even the highest form of offense in this country, which is treason, in the history of the country, has never been committed by dual citizens. I get the point that he's making. You see, we need to understand even the context of dual citizenship. If you have, and I'm surprised it's coming from somebody who lives abroad. You see, people who live abroad, the decision to hold the passports of other country has nothing to do with allegiance. It has more been motivated by opportunities.
The economic value.
Yeah, the economic opportunities and economic reasons, safety and sometimes security. So that if I give birth in the US, I wouldn't wait till my children get to the university and I pay school fees as international students. I have to naturalize my children there so that they can take advantage of the US system. So that when they are going to have healthcare in the US, when it has to do with matters of mortgage, they don't struggle. It has nothing to do with allegiance. Indeed, Antoine Semenyo is a dual citizen. Are you suggesting to me that when Ghana was playing with UK, when he has opportunity to score UK, he would rather turn the ball and come and score Ghana? So me, I've come to the realization and the conclusion that most of these fears are completely unfounded. That's why I referred us to context. Now, where is the context? The context is that this law completely belonged to a completely different era. At the time, political stability and instability was the question of the day that citizens and Ghanaians ought to answer. This time around, our decision is not only political, it also has to be developmental. You were making a point about the expertise that we are just wasting them. Interestingly, Roland, a dual citizen comes to Ghana, he's a doctor. He's able to work in Kolebu. That way we don't question his allegiance that he will kill patients. Automatically, when that person becomes a minister of health, that way we question his dual citizenship and allegiance. That way we question his allegiance. A dual citizen comes to University of Ghana or KNUST or UEW, becomes a lecturer, we don't question his allegiance in teaching our students well. When he becomes a minister for education, all of a sudden, we question his allegiance. So I am saying that instead of excluding them, we should rather build safeguard mechanisms that will integrate them. Because first of all, they are Ghanaians first. But your own constitution, from 96, the amendment that you did, your own constitution is telling that they are Ghanaians first. So on what basis will you say that, oh, some Ghanaians are better than other Ghanaians, whilst your own constitution does not agree. On the subject matter of whether or not president should be dual citizen, I'm not in DC, but largely I understand the context of that proposal, that when it comes to president and whatever, they should exclude them. Yes, because you see, I gave you instances of where the era in which the law belonged to and how progressive it's become, to the extent that Article 8 of the 1992 Constitution barred anything like dual citizenship. Initially. By 96, the amendment that was done then gave some room for dual citizenship to operate. So gradually, you never know. We may even get to a situation where our president could be dual citizen, because we are almost like a global community who interact with each other. And I'm saying that our affairs are not founded. All the sensitive sectors in the economy are run by foreign nationals. The extractive industry are run by foreign nationals. The telcos industry, even the banks are controlled by foreign nationals. So what is your fear again? You hire foreign coach, and he said that when it comes to dual citizenship,
even your national team.
Your national team are even. That's why I cited the example. Because when there's a penalty, Ghana,
and I'm sure even by the next World Cup, if we're able to qualify, or even the African Cup, we're going to have live, because now that's where even the policy discussion is even going. How do we even woo and court them? You know, first generation, second generation. So
let's not deceiving ourselves and put safeguard mechanisms that will ensure inclusivity, rather than saying that they are some less of
and we have we also have to say a chunk of our viewers, those who tend to love our programming, are in the diaspora. They're Ghanaians, and they give us more views as well, just like the locals also will give us views as well. And sometimes they are even better in tune with the happenings in the economy and the politics of it than even many of us locally as well.
Mossad in Israel,
yes,
they have more information about our security than ourselves. What are we talking about? CIA has more information of our security than ourselves. So what is the fear?
I think that lawyer raised the points earlier. Per the recommendation, the president, the vice president cannot be a dual citizen. I am asking a question. In the absence of the president, the vice president, per the current arrangement, the speaker of parliament is supposed to act. Is that not correct? So at that point that he's acting as a president, if he's a dual citizen, what becomes of him?
I mean, it's a very valid point.
Legally.
Yeah, legally, yeah.
Do you understand the question I'm asking? Or if the speaker is not around and the chief justice, who is a dual citizen, is supposed to act, and we are saying per the provision that the president should not be, what happens?
So at that time, does he denounce or?
So
the policy is consistent.
It's very consistent.
Look at this.
It's a very solid argument that we have to. It's a solid puzzle.
Amendment for exceptions when those amendments take place. Right?
Yeah, well,
of course, we'll put this to a vote.
No. So that's why.
It's a referendum that's supposed to.
No, that's why they've brought this. So we will discuss through the discussion. We'll see how to tweak
what
the law.
Public education
or discourse. Yeah. So for me, I see usually these laws and general laws, like I think somebody said, laws are not made for good people necessarily, or for situations when everything is optimal. Understand? These issues come up when we are in, let's say, crisis. Like you rightly said, let's say there's a war between Togo and Ghana, or let's say the US wants to come and take over Ghana, and we shouldn't think that it can never happen.
Is capable of doing everything.
You understand? And we have, let's say, Minister of Defense, who is a dual citizen of the US. Mind you, when you go and take a US citizenship, they cause you to renounce your original citizenship first. When you go and take dual citizenship in the US, the first thing, citizenship in the US, the first thing you do is you renounce your original citizenship and go and read the oath they take. You understand? Also in Ghana we have
but they have those who have the passports. Yeah.
No. So when you go
if
take,
you have the green card.
No. So when you go and
green
take,
card holders have US
are not citizens.
They are not.
When you become US citizens, that's when they give you the passport.
But they use the passport.
No, just green card people don't use passport. They just have a green card. So from green card you can then elevate and then become a citizen. At the point when you have become a citizen, you renounce all your other citizenships. So the US citizenship becomes your first citizenship. And
then subsequently,
and somebody do
the dual citizens from Ghana, people are not holding U.S. passports.
They say you renounce by law first. Then later you can go and
then.
So it's just an arrangement.
Understand? Now and then they take an oath, a very serious oath. You understand? So this is. You don't see the impact unless there is a crisis. I'm saying, let's say what US did to Maduro. You understand? Imagine something similar is going to happen in Ghana here, and the defense minister is what's called a dual citizen. You understand? How do you trust, like the Mossad issue you are saying? Why does Mossad have information about Ghana more than we ourselves have? Because there are infiltrators here, not just Mossad, but there are Ghanaians who are leaking those info.
They are agents.
And those Ghanaians leaking the info are not dual citizens.
No. The point of it is that he just said the point is that we do not even know. Yeah. But I agree with you, there'll be some Ghanaians. So imagine the one who is even a dual citizen.
Exactly. Which is unfounded.
No, it is founded. And that's why you say we should look for safeguard. The fact that you say we should look for safeguard is you recognize the risks. Except that you are saying that instead of us saying that no, we should say a yes, and which is a great point. I agree with you, but I'm just asking because at this point we are interrogating the law. I've read the first issue about the contradiction in the policy itself. The second issue I'm saying is usually when things are all fair and good, you don't see the need for some of these things. Yeah. But even where people are Ghanaian, wholly Ghanaian, because of poverty, because of other issues, you understand, they don't mind giving info, very sensitive info about Ghana. I agree with you. I'm not saying that because I'm a Ghanaian. But the
even Galamsey is not done by justice.
I agree with you. You understand? But the point is that
the foreigners are the main,
and the Ghanaians are the one teaching them. The Chinese is the Ghanaian
beneficiary. Because even in countries like Germany where they don't even allow for justice, I think it's not that they want to change. There are some countries that don't allow for dual citizenship at all.
But US, I checked, US allows.
US allows. I'm saying US allows. No, US allows. There are a lot of US allows, except that you have to renounce your original citizenship first.
You acquire them before you become a second.
And then you see. But there are some countries who don't allow for dual citizenship. And even in those countries, people act in a manner which is adverse to the interests of the country. Yes, so it will always be there. That's why we do criminal laws. But I'm saying that even if that's the case, then imagine where that person's allegiance is divided and the other country is asking of them to take steps which are adverse to our interests, because they can do it. But you see, they can compel them. So it's not a matter of I'm loyal, but you've also taken an oath that also compels you by law to show some loyalty to some other country by law, by their law. You understand? So let's say we find ourselves in a situation where by their law they are asking of you some service for that country, which is adverse to our country. I don't know.
But I made a point that the drive that pushes people into dual citizenship is not on allegiance.
No, I know
it has more to do with purely economic.
No, I agree with you 100%. But you're not, so I agree with you.
So the allegiance is not question.
No. Right. That's a question. I'm saying that I agree with 100%. But I'm saying that you've taken a citizenship. That citizenship also creates obligations on you.
Certainly.
You understand? And then you find yourself in a situation where because you're a citizen, they want some obligation. They are demanding of you to take a certain action. You understand? Right. Which is adverse to the interest of your other country. Because it can happen.
Just a clear example. Between Ghana and
you see how we all agree we should, but at the same time we are pointing out the flaws, and then sometimes the lacuna or the dichotomy that people face subsequently in the implementation. Because our viewers knew that Mills, for example, Justice. I don't know whether he's Finnish. I don't know. He lives in Finland. All right. So I'm sure that he has citizenship. And he said, but if you have a dual citizenship of a country like the USA, and the USA is at war with Ghana, you fight for the USA. I think it's for the economic value of it, because you have to weigh. Which one gives you better value? Then Patrick is also watching from the UK.
Those citizens are always fighting. Why are you looking at them?
No. That's why we are looking. No,
exactly. The people who have been betraying this country most. And
then Patrick also says that in the UK, he says in the UK, we swear an oath to pay.
People will will, if you like it or not, even people one citizen, they will act in a manner that is not in the interest of that country.
Okay.
It is there.
If citizens like that, so
It's there. But the point that when there's right now there's a law that is backing you, or in fact that's demanding of you to take actions against your other citizenship. Like Ghana, you understand? So you are a US citizen. Now they want some economic espionage on Ghana.
Yeah,
certainly that action.
Maybe they want to know the mine sites.
These are all speculative fears.
No, but they happen in America. But you police what's what Iran? They knew where Ayatollah was. You think it was okay?
And they don't think it was a glass of good the information.
No, I'm not saying that you are not understanding. No, you don't understand my point. I'm saying that. So you guys don't understand my point. The point is that even where we don't have dual citizens, there's a history of people who just have one citizenship
and acting
in a manner that is inimical to the interests of their country. Is there? But I'm saying where you have a dual citizenship, this one there can be a law per the second country that compels him. That obligates on him to act in a manner that is inimical to our interests.
That's why I spoke about the safeguard mechanism.
That's what I said. So we should consider it. Yes, it's a very good. But the point is that, like, and that's a typical example. I don't even want to talk about war because in our mind we think that war.
Every day is war.
No, we think war is far fetched. In our mind, we think war is far, but there could be
a trade war.
You understand? Where probably the minister, let's say, of finance here is also a citizen of America, and they quietly.
I think this topic they suit you people, so let's do Sedina. Patrick is watching us from the UK. Patrick basically says that they also swear. Says we also swear an oath to pay allegiance to the king of the UK. So see Zilis Dwayne Shatawale fan is a British citizen as well. Good morning to you, Zilis Dwayne, Liverpool. And then Charles Thompson, Uncle Charles Thompson. Good morning. Is also a UK citizen. I don't know what he makes of this, but it's quite interesting. What the issues are, but we seem to like the economic value that dual citizens bring to us, but we don't want to also accommodate the other baggage.
We take the investment and we don't want them
Kwesi Kwati says that, I mean, we're just being far-fetched with the arguments, and I think I take the opinion that you share that prior to 96, the argument was that, hey,
no citizenship at all.
But now it looks like the opinion is softening over time. And once we're having dilution of birth and then birthright, etc., I think the lawyer Sergio Leonard sends me a quotation. 1 Samuel 29, 1 to 11. And it's about David being denied joining the Philistines in battle against the Israelites. And when you read up to 11, you also get to have the conundrum that confronted the Philistines, because there was a fear that he would become their adversary subsequently if they went to war. quite interesting. And if you apply this to the debate currently, the public office requires undivided allegiance to Ghana. And so a person who owes citizenship to another country in exceptional circumstances face competing legal or national obligations and decisions that person needs to make.
But he can become a doctor at Kwalibu, and that way his allegiance is not questioned. He won't kill patients. If he becomes a minister, all of a sudden his allegiance is questioned. Well, he can become a teacher.
Quite an interesting one you have. And so for our loyal diaspora viewers, money and new data mails and Zilis Dwayne, Prince Nani, etc., who all live in the UK, Uncle Charles Thompson, Kwesi Mensa, Albany, New York, we're grateful that you always tend to watch us. But Sefa says, it's always refreshing listening to Lawyer Pierre Dankwa and Kwesi Kwati. I don't understand what this craze of dual citizenship is all about. Political positions are not all there to serve your country. Okay, quite an interesting position we have. And then Dr. Ishak says that I'm currently watching your panel. I couldn't disagree more with some of them, particularly Apia. He's doing some poor analysis on the dual citizenship, and then he wants to be part of that. Dr. Ishak is a lawyer and then lecturer with the UPSC as well, and helping us doing this.
I just something came up. You see, just a quick one, just 30 seconds. A lot of people that comes here to hold positions and still don't renounce their citizenship, a lot of them are from a place of insecurity.
Yes.
Government goes in opposition, the kind of politics we do in this country.
You'll be hunted down.
You'll be hunted down. So
you are being haunted, eh?
Oh, no. Me and Mias is on TV talking.
No, because of the analogy.
No, that's
a very, very strong
yeah. So people don't want to renounce, not necessarily because of allegiance. The BCCC are, at least he and his family, they are a bit secured. Yeah. So the kind of politics that we also do in this country also influences the reason why people do not renounce.
So they are here, like the politicians, they are here and their children, everybody else is out there.
Yeah, even ordinary citizens, full citizens.
The Speaker of Parliament is against that. I think his experience, he says it's not a good thing, having your children out, because in your old age, they don't come to you. But Alhaji Kupsin says, I say no to dual citizenship, taking ministerial positions. Ken Oforiatta on my mind. Kwesi Kwarteng says disabuse. Yes, of course.
He's not a dual citizen.
Yes, but he's saying just in case he
he's speculative again. He's not a dual citizen.
Yeah.
Said is not a dual citizen. None of them are dual citizens.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying he's saying that. I'm not saying that.
The former Attorney General has issued a statement and some sharp rebuttals from him as well. He believes that when it comes to the position, there seem to be two sets of laws for two sets of people in Ghana, and it's in relation to the position that has been taken in that judgment by the Court of Appeal based on what the grounds of appeal were from the lawyers of the before convicted Sedina Atieno. And let me start with the lawyers, and then I'll leave the lawmaker out first. Kwesi Kwarteng, I don't know what you make of this. I'm sure you follow this as well. Yes, let's spend. Let me give you 7 minutes on this.
The damage statement.
Yes. Yeah. And then what it also means in itself in the overall analysis. You've read the judgment. You are an astute upcoming lawyer as well. You tend to make poignant arguments. Let's look at the pros and cons.
I read that statement, and I also read the decision of the court.
Yeah.
I agree largely with the ruling of the court to the extent that the prosecutors could have done better. My only disappointment in the... No, I read it.
But you followed Kwesi Kwarteng's discussions. It's very...
I read it. My only disappointment has to do with the court. That I was expecting that even after coming to that very conclusion that there were defects in the charge sheet, whatever, which was not contended, I was of the view that at least the court, in the spirit of public accountability, should have ordered for a trial.
Why, Kwesi Kwarteng?
You see, that's why I said that in the spirit of accountability. You see,
how does that concern the court?
The courts are not just institutions operating in a vacuum. They are institutions that operate to align with public policy. So that even if you look at a court like Supreme Court, there's a court of public policy. The Supreme Court can gauge the mood of the nation and makes a decision, and that itself becomes a law. I mean, whether or not is justifiable within the remit of the law, they can gauge the mood of the nation and say that this decision should go here in the interest of national security, in the interest of public health, in the interest of this. So I'm saying that even in the spirit of accountability, the three justices that sat on the case, with all the reasons that they give, that the prosecutors did not do a good job, assuming without admitting that is even the case, I am saying that even in the spirit of accountability, especially when the government of the day, from day one, the slogan that it has been singing has always been on accountability, fighting corruption.
How does that concern the court, Kwesi Kwarteng, lawyer?
I just explained to you that in the spirit of accountability, the court is enjoined as a state institution to make sure that we every sector of the Ghanaian facet becomes accountable.
Were those matters before the court in the grounds of appeal?
That somebody was requesting for accountability. Yeah, you see, that it was within the remit of the court and the powers and authority of the court to order for a trial. So the court should have done that. The Court of Appeal has the jurisdiction to make that. That's why I'm saying that at least the court should have considered that. If you don't do that, you see, there is a court of law, and there is also the court of public conscience, and of course the court of public opinion. The court of public conscience looks at a lot of factors which may not be the facts before the court. But you see, it is a court of public conscience that places value and premium and trust on an institution like the court. So that when the court of public conscience do no longer trust an institution such like the court, then automatically the institutions, the integrity of the institution just water down. I give you one example. You see the police service. It has always been perception. Nobody has gone to court catching a police officer that he takes bribe. But right now, the general perception is that if we are ranking state institutions, we are corrupt. Largely, you are likely to say that the police service is a corrupt, especially the MDTD guys, because the perception keeps growing. So for me, that is my fear. That if you have a government that from day one has been singing the chorus of fighting corruption, and a political case, mind you, said now is not an ordinary person. It's not like my brother here. She's a politically exposed person. And all of a sudden, she goes to court, and the court acquits her and discharges her. It wouldn't be far-fetched if anybody sits behind the roof and start assuming that it was politically motivated. That's why I'm saying that the court could have done us a greatest good by at least ordering for a retrial. Then again, I come to the politics of it. I read Amin's statement. If you read Amin's statement, my understanding that I had was the perception that state people or Ghanaians are now having towards the cause and, of course, the government in power, my brother and his people. Especially when the records shows a certain pattern of trend. And let me give you that pattern of trend. If you look at the let me start with the Atuforcing case. Atuforcing case, the money in contention was 2.37 million euros. Okay. Yeah, 2.37 on the Abulan saga. You see, a government comes into power. They have promised that they are going to recover all loot and fight corruption. A case is pending. Granted, even the case is even unmeritorious. The natural expectation is that you allow a person who has already opened his defense to go through the full rigors of the trial, at least to get closer. But you get an AG who files a nollie prosequa and say that I'm not willing to continue the case. Perception. People's perception then start. Oh, why? Is it because he is out of force? Is it because their government is in power? I give you another example from that before that force and Dr. Stephen Opini and Seidu Agongo. 271 million Ghana cedis. Again, another nollie prosequa file. Who answers for the 271 million Ghana cedis? Because that is not in contention that it is missing. It is missing, but who answers for it? At least it would have even been proper to give, for the people to have benefit of the doubt, for them to have gone through the full trial and get the closure. Another example is Ofusan Pofo has no monetary commitment, so I don't want to waste much time on this. But Dr. Siama, that was 300 million Ghana cedis, also unanswered. What would have been so wrong if we had allowed Siama to go through the court process and prove his innocence? So that at the end of the day, Siama is able to say that there was a judgment that said that I didn't do anything. But the moment you file a nollie prosequa and say that you are not interested in pursuing the case on whatever grounds, especially with the kind of political environment and the political temperature that we know we are in, you fool the perception. That's what Damin is talking about. And finally,
the argument you are making that they should have allowed them to go through the full trial for a court to make a determination, and that would have properly exonerated them. In the case of Sedina, she has gone through the full trial. She has appealed, and the court has made a pronouncement.
That's what I'm saying.
Acquitted and discharged. And yet we are here.
No, I don't have problem with Sedina. I started with that one.
But his point was
very strong argument.
I started with Sedina's issue. That's what I made the point that
you have made a position clear on that one.
Yeah, I made the point. So I don't think I will going to revisit that again. I'm landing. The final is Dr. Kwabena Dufour, very fine gentleman, and over 5.7 billion in an alleged fraudulent transactions involving Unibank. The charge sheet also alleged that Dr. Dufour dishonestly received over 663 million from Unibank. This is what state prosecutors press him. If you look at the cumulative value of all this money, we are looking about 6 to 10 billion Ghana cedis. Maybe some of them are even in euros. So averagely 10 billion Ghana cedis. 10 billion Ghana cedis. If you take to old cedis, that's about 100 trillion. And these are monies that we agree on principle that has been looted from the state coffers. What would have the government lost if at least they would have just allowed these people to have gone through the process and then finish and get closer? So that at least we all know that, like Tatuchi Kata came, we went to court, they said, oh, we didn't do anything. The moment you go and you file nollie prosequa, at the same time, while gallantly pursuing leadership of the opposition. I mean, somebody like Wontumi, I don't admire some aspect of his politics. But you see, Wontumi is in jail on the basis of one thing, that he gave his land out without any formal or due procedure to another person to do galamsey. So I read the judgment. The judgment doesn't implicate him directly that he did the galamsey. Says he gave it out. So Ghanaians are rational people. They are not like mechanical robots where you programmed to think in a way that the government expects to think. They are able to decipher. Somebody has been accused of about 5.7 billion Ghana cedis, 270 million, 300 million. You leave all these guys, and tomorrow another person called Bernard Chamawun to me, who has been accused of, and of course publicly everybody has taken judicial notice that he attacked the president. Then he will put him in jail. It raises a question of perception, and when that happens, we not only lose trust in the system, we not only lose trust in the state institutions, but even the confidence that we have in government on the subject matter of.
So your position is that beyond what the remit of law and the grounds on which this judgment is based, the court should have taken judicial notice of the happenings within the domain of the public. Is that it?
Yes. For it to the court should have ordered the retrial. For it to traverse beyond. You see, the court doesn't dispute about the charges. So the court only uses. I mean, my senior is. I'm sure the court went more on procedural technicalities. The defective this didn't do this. The burden of proof. So the actual charge or the wrong, the court doesn't talk about it. That's why I'm saying that it would have been in the interest of the whole nation.
Whether those acts or omissions
were indeed done by the court ordering a retrial, and nothing would have changed. And I'm not sure anybody would have incurred injustice if the court had ordered for retrial, that we see this was not done properly, we see this is defective, we did see this that the judge had, so therefore go for a retrial. And it has always been happening. At every point, there has always been ordering for retrials. So for you to, for all the three judges to unanimously say that we've acquitted and discharged me, I mean, we may pretend under the umbrella of the law that, oh, the law is the law, the judges act. Indeed, I mean, there have been bad laws, there have been foolish laws. If you look at the Nuremberg trial, Hitler and co, they were justifying their position of murders with law. Slavery was backed by a law. Apartheid was backed by a law. So when people say, oh, the law is the law, fine. But there is also a court of public conscience that we need to tread cautiously.
Fred, when you sit in parliament and then you also go to interact with your constituents and then interact generally with the public, his view will hold sway. He say yes, grounded legally, but at the end of the day, the speculations about the posture of the Attorney General and government to be receptive of having its own, it looks like the court should have made a consideration to look into that.
I think that I largely agree with the concerns that has been raised by my brother Kwesi Kwarteng on this particular subject matter. I agree that public perception is very, very key in the governance, system that we have. Unfortunately, they are lawyers, and they will tell you that this country is not governed by emotions and sentiments. The nation is governed by law, and so the only time you can accuse anybody of wrongdoing is when a law of competence, the Court of Competent Jurisdiction has made a pronouncement to that effect. Now, sometimes I struggle to understand why we draw the executive arm of government into issues like this. When you listen, you read the statement that was issued by Dami, for instance. You led the judiciary not too long ago. You were the Attorney General of this country. Now, who is he accusing? Is it the judges? Or is it the executive government? Who is he accusing now? Is he now saying that the institution that he was a leader of not too long ago had become so biased, had become so insensitive to, the concerns of ordinary citizens? When I read this, I didn't really get what he was trying to do. Was he accusing the judges of bias? What was he really trying to communicate in that statement? Because Sednam didn't sit in a house and acquitted and discharged herself. Her lawyers went to court. And like Kwesi said, Go and read all the reasons that the lawyers gave in law. The judges gave in law. They are correct. Is that not so? Your only argument is that they should have ordered for a retrial. That again is your view. I am aware that when this particular ruling came out, the Attorney General issued a statement and said they were going to appeal. Is that not so? That they were going to appeal the decision of the court. So I don't know if per that appeal they are going to call for a retrial. I don't know what the Attorney General intends to do. But this is a government, this is a president. His track record is there for all to see. That when it comes to wrongdoing, when it comes to corruption, President Mahama is very confident and bold and ready to allow whoever has committed a crime to face the law, regardless of the person's political affiliation. He has demonstrated that in time past, and even now, that he is not going to protect anybody because you are an NDC member or because you are a friend, you are whatever it is. They do not allow. I don't think that is it. But really and truly, why is Dami not taking responsibility that they didn't do a good job? And that's where we are. The cases that Kwesi cited and the reasons why the Attorney General went to file the null prosequa and discontinue with the cases. Yes, to understand, you can say that in the person's involved's own interest, it would have been good that the entire trial comes to an end. A court makes a determination so that nobody tomorrow can raise issues like this and make look as though the Attorney General, yes, issued a null prosequa because they are NDC members. I agree with that position. I'm not contesting it at all. You understand? And so, for me, some people will argue that, okay, this is what we have. We need to respect it. We need to stand by it. It's the court that has made the determination. And one argument that I think all of us must stay away from is as if to say that any time the state goes to court, necessarily the state must win. It can never be the case. That because the state thinks that Kwesi is involved in some wrongdoing and they've gone to court, automatically they must win. And so when an individual goes to court to defend himself with his lawyers and he's set free, then somebody then thinks that it's a deliberate thing to set him free. Then why don't we have the court? Why don't we allow people to have their day in court to also defend themselves? Then we must as well say that once the state thinks that you are involved in some wrongdoing, that is the end.
It's the pattern.
You understand? Perception, I agree.
The pattern.
I agree. You see, one other argument people have made, if it were that easy, some of these trials have lasted for 7 years, 8 years. How long are we going to be in court with one issue? Really? One criminal issue like allegations of corruption and the rest should last for 10, 12, 20 years in court? And the individuals involved cannot even have the time now to do their work as it were. They don't have the freedom to go about their daily activities. Is that what they are saying? So you took them to court. You took them to court. So if indeed you have evidence of proper wrongdoing, why is it taking the court forever to make a determination? So Attorney General can come here and say, okay, based on the facts available to us, you have been in court for 8 years. We are not getting a judgment. Why must we continue, in court? And if, like I'm saying, if indeed you have a good case, why didn't you finish the prosecution within the 8 years? Oh, there be myself, so there. No, if my question is wrong, you can tell me. If indeed you had a good case, 8 good years, 8 years, so 8 solid years.
The host of justice grinds slowly.
So it must grind forever and ever. So assuming this Attorney General to had come, okay, let's continue with the trial. Then another NDC 8 years come to pass, 12 years come to pass. And the case, you understand? So for me, maybe the people who went to that court didn't do a good job to start with. And once you go to court as a prosecutor, you didn't do your work well, your investigation well, your charges are not correct, you are not expecting to get any good judgment from the court.
So you seem to agree with the Court of Appeal's position and says that the prosecution's evidence on a fair and unaided reading, fell short of proof beyond reasonable doubt. The shortfall was not made good by embedding properly resting on the appellant and a trial judge.
So, is that not what the judge? You must prove beyond reasonable doubt that indeed the person was involved in wrongdoing. And if you couldn't prove that, and you have sentenced the person, and you don't want the person to go on appeal, and she has gone on appeal and she has gotten they've acquitted the charge. Why are
you don't agree there should have been a retrial?
I am not contesting that. You see, there's a point you made that is very fundamental. Public opinion is key. But I also said that this country is not necessarily governed by sentiments and emotions. The country is governed by laws.
Yeah.
So if it is the case that the law was not applied, right, and it was done in a kangaroo style, then we can have a proper conversation. But in this case, these are 3 justices who sat on a case, unanimously took a decision, and they have subsequently come out with their report why they came to the conclusion they came to. As of now, nobody has been able to contest the decision of the
but your own AG disagrees. Your own AG disagrees.
Hold it. Yeah, I'm saying that you
47.
Nobody has been able to contest the decision of the appeal court. Say again. Oh, sorry. Okay, let me leave for the lawyer.
Says you are over talking.
Oh, no, he's over talking. But it's just that the timing. So
that's fine.
So you are not moderating for him.
Oh, sorry, forgive me.
He's gagging me, so I've accepted. He's my brother. So you go ahead.
Satanic. What's your phrase? Satanic. But the reality is that the two of you are lawyers, so I guess we also in our argument then you put the issues in perspective. The point is, if the court would have to take judicial notice of public opinion, and then the perception not only it creates for the country and government's efforts to fight corruption, but also the perception on the judiciary itself, should it have veered into the area of speculation, public opinion, etc. Knowing that the appellant or the one who has been convicted also has a right during the process of the prosecution or the adjudication process to have her rights also respected. And so if the position of the court is that the technical proceedings that the prosecution took the case through was not right in law, that's a good argument to make before the other contentions of retrial by way of an opinion could also be proffered.
See, we should all remember that in the words of Aristotle, law is reason, free from passion. And when the judges sit and are using their power to give justice, they do same in the name of the people. They do same within the context of the biggest public interest or public what's it called policy document, which is the constitution of the land. You understand? In arriving at their decision. So for me, I don't think when we say public policy, we mean opinion per se, because there's no science to it, and you understand. But let me add that as much as, so I agree largely with the position of my brother Kwesi Kwarteng, that there are some few disagreements, but if there's one thing I cannot contest is the fact that there's integrity in what he's saying, in what Kwesi Kwarteng is saying. I mean, and I respect people who speak out of integrity. We may not necessarily agree, but at least you must respect the fact that he's speaking from a position of integrity. There is a fundamental lack of integrity in the statement of Godfred Dame. There's a fundamental lack of integrity.
How so?
And you see, and in a statement that says that, or that seems to suggest there are two laws that applies to two set of people. I think, in fact, I dare say that it is even irresponsible coming from somebody who was not just an Attorney General, but was also Minister for Justice.
But you can express his opinion.
No, I'm saying that you just know. The first thing was that you have given an opinion. I may not agree 100% with it, but I trust in the integrity of that. By all means, he can say his opinion. But I'm saying that I do not believe in the integrity of that statement. You understand? Because unfortunately, when we are lawyers, we are a bit constrained. We can't do politics just like that. You understand? You must, especially when it borders on law, you must be guided by the law itself and the expectations that is deemed on you being a learned person, especially when you have been the foremost learned person. You see, first of all, when you take the Sedna case, there were a number of issues why appeal was done. The first, like my brother rightly said, had to do with the charge sheet itself. Because, when you take a charge sheet, the requirement per law is that the charge sheet, which is the foremost notice to the accused, because mind you, we are being guided by the principle of natural justice. And that principle demands that where you are doing any case, you must give the person all the possible opportunity to defend themselves. In a criminal trial, it starts with the charge sheet itself. So you give the charge, you have breached this law, but you must then particularize it. The particularization demands that you give the clear facts,
the details of
the facts. The demand is not for you to give evidence, forensic evidence, but that on this day you did this, and this, because every offense has what's called its particulars and the elements, and the particulars must show the elements on the face of it. Now you take some of the charges. So you take, let's say, I think count 68, for instance, willfully causing financial loss to the state, contrary to section 179A3A of the, and there was the particulars. Sedinam Christine Tamakulu Atun on or about 5th December 2016 in Accra, in the Greater Accra region, willfully caused financial loss of the mentioned. Come on, are these particulars? Are these particulars? So when she went to court, what was she going to defend?
Well, in respect of that, in paragraph 60, for the court said, those count disclose no willful conduct by the applicant.
Exactly. So
whether by act or omission, positive.
I'm very glad that my brother, I've had the privilege of, there was a case we started, we didn't finish, but at least we were on the same side.
Yeah.
He's a very sharp lawyer. I don't know too much about it. Criminal Procedure Law 101. The basic thing that we are taught is how to prepare a charge sheet. Every year, you know that when you're in the law school, when you're in the law school, you do have question 1, you prepare charge sheet.
25 marks.
It's very fundamental. Very fundamental. And then you have the foremost lawyer of the land.
No, but I'm not sure he did it.
But he's that. Is that the Constitution says that there's no obligation on the. So I'm telling you an example. So you see, we are all laughing here.
Please, I'm not laughing. I'm not part.
You're laughing in your head. You're laughing in your head. So is this a charge? So now the defect here is not about lack of procedural irregular. It goes to the very substance of the matter.
It's fundamental.
It's so fundamental, you understand. But I must say that I understand why there's a call for a retrial. I disagree, but I understand. The reason why I say I disagree is there was really no crime said here for why there must be so if you are going to retrial, what are you going to retrial? Really, if you are going to do a retrial,
what about the charges?
That's what I'm coming. Yeah. So on this, if you are going to retrial, what are you going to retrial? You understand? So let's put that. Now there were other issues for which the charge sheets were spot on. The other issues for which the charge sheets were spot on. For those ones, the judge did not acquit and discharge on the premise of the charge sheets. She then went further and said, listen, it's also public policy that in a criminal case, because all of us are Ghanaians, when we did our constitution, said that recognize the purpose for our constitution is 1, to protect our lives, our liberties, and our right to pursue our own happiness. You say the burden in terms of the evidence, the burden of proof there should be proved beyond all reasonable doubt. Beyond all reasonable doubt. And then you take the case where they said she has, so the allegation was that she gave loan, she took the money back, and she said, no, I didn't take any money back. And then what was the evidence? The evidence was some what's called?
Letter that he signed.
She contends that she didn't sign.
And
so the prosecution was then supposed to prove that
all the burden is on them. There was nothing in the records of Maslow that showed that document indeed was there. The text message that the guy claimed that text message, bring it. You could indeed, when it comes to the fire, they said she gave some money to a fire. During the cross-examination, the auditor said that no, that issue had been dealt with in the sense that there was money were shed. So then you ask yourself a simple question. Why are Ghanaians still thinking that, no, Sedina did it? We think so because of the vile propaganda that was done before the case. And that's why I brought in that, you see, when you're Attorney General, not just Attorney General, because you see,
when you were communicating the facts of the case?
No, not in court.
No, with the media, because the deputy at the time who
I can't agree.
But it's not wrong, is it?
Where did you go for retrial?
No, retrial. Go to retrial. What can you? What I go to retrial? You see, that was like, listen, you must take our positions very critical. See, when you're Attorney General, you're also Minister for Justice. It's very and your very essence is not necessarily to persecute, because in prosecution or proper prosecution is also one of the avenues in which justice is gained. Because if somebody has genuinely committed an offense and you do proper prosecution, what you are chasing is justice. In the same vein, where somebody you do not have any evidence clearly that somebody has committed an offense. You understand? You do not, on the back of politics, on the back of vile propaganda, take steps as Minister for Justice, to deny anybody of their liberties. That crime is a crime not against the person, but against the Constitution of Ghana. And that crime is heightened when you consider a person who breached that fundamental principle that underpins this constitution. Understand? It is in that vein that I make a claim that his statement lacks integrity. Because you take Chamawun Tumi's issue, for instance. The question we should be asking ourselves, based on all the facts that have been made available to us, if now offense is an offense that I think is a crime malainsi. There are two crimes, malainsi, because there is a prohibition on anybody who's doing mining to give your concession without, you understand? So what is galamsey? Galamsey essentially is a slang for illegal mining. So if you give your concession to somebody to mine against the...
that one is not in dispute.
You have committed galamsey, not just illegal mining. You understand? Now, the reason I'm saying that there's lack of consistency, you know that during court, the letter was issued that purportedly came from REXEC. So REXEC has an original security. We're in the know that this was happening. Now, if they were in the know, then the president ought to be in the know. Because the REXEC are just agents of the president.
But the president came to clear he forgot.
I'm making a point. I'm making a point. Then Attorney General, because Attorney General deals with the police and all those people, he also ought to be in the know. And what was their position? Let me just land on this. When clearly this issue was dealing with it was a public health issue. It's an issue that we all claim is an existential threat to all of us. And yet you have a president who said what? That Akuntan Mine, so far as is concerned, has not been involved in
consistency in the prosecution. That's all.
I agree with you. No, that's what I agree. No, my first thing was that I agree with you largely. How can I disagree with your call on not the retrial, the non prosecutions and their impact on perception? I can't disagree with that. So just to end,
Lawyer Familiar Spirit, please end.
So I'm not Familiar Spirit. I beg you. Familiar Spirit is to some members of the NPP. Of course, my brother is not part of them, but some members. I'm not. So let me just end. So I beg the former what's called AG. So when you hold,
stop talking.
And we all make mistakes. This job, we all make mistakes. Let's calmly accept your mistake. Let's support justice to be done.
The mistake.
Let's support justice to be done in the interest of.
I have this one from Mr. David Odro, who says that please tell the gentleman that the criminal proof is not beyond all reasonable doubt, rather beyond reasonable doubt. All is not part of it, because the proof does not have to be 100%. You say here. This one is coming from Emmanuel, who says that the former Attorney General did a shoddy work. He rushed through the prosecution. Check the charge sheet first, and then you will understand. It's the basis of the judgment of the Court of Appeal. If the lady negotiated the contracts and the money was never paid or went out before she left office, and Steka takes over and he renegotiated and paid the money, why should Sedina suffer for Steka's mistakes when it was renegotiated and paid off by Steka's administration? So we have more comments also coming through. Mr. Bo Bachman, now member of the UP, former member MPP. Tell Kwesi, Madam Fua, tell Kwesi that the MPP should stop fixating on the Attorney General's decision to enter a nolle prosequi. If they have solid evidence but failed to secure convictions after 8 years, they failed Ghanaians. If they lacked solid evidence, then the prosecutions were nothing but political persecution. Ekwe Boateng says that the perception that the court needed to take cognizance of was very important. Even the judiciary has been fingered in many of these speculations. How would they feel if they all sit at a public gathering and people are speculating that they are corrupt and are in line with the government of the day? A government, when in opposition, was saying they will prosecute and come into government and then go and undertake nolle prosequi with ongoing cases. Anthony Nukpenu says that instead of what is the value of public perception on the life of a wrong conviction of a person when the perception is anchored on ignorance and emotion? Bottom line, Layadami did a shoddy work. Hey.
But that's true.
Cephas says MPP had up to 8 years to deal with those NDC members. Kwesi listed. They couldn't finish with them. But big issue is sponsored by the University of Gold Coast, and they're telling you whether you want a specialist MBA, marketing, communication, supply chain, HR, as well as a dual MBA, chartered manager MBA. The University of Gold Coast has you covered. They have all sorts of programs. If you're a worker, they make it easy for you to work in school. You also get to pay your fees in installments. Admissions are ongoing, so check them out on their portal as well as their social media handle. So you can also call them. The number 026-388-8555. Let's do the first draw of cash out. It goes with the short code star 439 hash. And please, 321, the draw first. The first 500 Ghana cedis going to the number 02 or 05 059 3412. Congratulations to you. Kofi Kwating Kukua Menin, I see your message. Even the count, numbering of the 78 charges on the charge sheet to the High Court, Godfrey Dame got it wrong. I'm not sure. Kwesi Kwating say he's not the one who prepared the charge sheet.
Oh, it's Dame who prepared the charge himself.
We're taking a break. We'll ride back with the latest sports headlines.
out of the under-20 championship, which is ongoing in Ivory Coast. The only solace for us is the fact that we are hosting the next under-20 Africa Cup of Nations, so we qualify by virtue of being the host. If not, we would have found ourselves in deep waters. But the tournament is next year, that is 2027. Ghana will be hosting, so we still have to be in there as the host nation, and that is the only great thing for us. Maxwell Kunedu says that after this tournament, he will make big changes to the squad that will represent Ghana at the under-20 AFCON proper. So he says that most of these players will not be there. On the balance of what he saw, maybe he doesn't think that these boys are up to the task, and he would have to make adjustment to
so this one, we have to bring some foreigners in, some dual citizens.
Well, with what GFA has started recently, where they want to tap into the European market. Recently, they had a program in the UK, invited about 40 kids with their mothers. So most of these kids will be invited to the junior teams to get themselves acclimatized before they get to the Black Stars level. Now, GFA says we are not waiting for Kevin Prince Boateng to get to the senior level before we call him. We'll get him young whilst he's playing for Chelsea Academy. We'll invite him to under 17, under 20. So by the time he gets ripe and wants to play at the senior level, he wouldn't want to choose any other nation but stick to Ghana. So maybe the under 20 World Cup will have a couple of players who would be playing in foreign clubs join the team, and that would be good, because I mean they come with a lot of experience from Chelsea, Man United. There are a lot of Ghanaian kings spread across Europe, so we'll be having them in.
All right. Now, let's look at the Black Queens. I know that they were in the African or are in the African Women's
Africa Cup of Nations. We are hoping that we'll be qualifying to the World Cup in 2027, because we've not been at the World Cup since 2007. But our tournament has taken a different turn, and we are now on the grasp of needing a win against Mali in our final game. We won our first game against Cape Verde. Then yesterday against Cameroon, unfortunately, we committed a foul which resulted in a penalty. Cameroon scored, and we were never able to come back. So we lost the game by 1-0. Now we have 3 points, and we have to beat Mali to ensure that we qualify to the next stage. Mali themselves also played Cape Verde. They won by 3-2. So in the group, Cameroon have 6 points, Ghana have 3 points, Mali have 3 points. And Ghana and Mali are playing the final group game. So it's a winner-take-it-all affair in that one. And we are hoping that Kim Lasborg, he says that the team will recover. And he spoke lengthily after that defeat to Cameroon.
That there can be advances for you, but of course it's more open WAFCON this year than many people I think expected. So I think there will be very close quarterfinals, no matter what the position will be, if you finish first or second in the group. But to start with, we are not there yet. I still think that we have a good chance if we start to play like we did in the second against Mali. Then I'm pretty sure that we're going to finish this group stage in a good way, and then we are ready for the quarterfinal, and then we will see if we make it, who we're going to play against.
Take it cool. He's taking it coolly.
Yeah.
But we have the ongoing Commonwealth Games.
It's ended yesterday, the closing ceremony, and we thought Ghana had won big in the 4x100 meter race. Something happened, which was not pleasant. Initially, Canada, who finished second in the 4x100 meter race, were disqualified. Then Ghana were elevated to the bronze medal because Nigeria had finished third. So Canada, who finished second, were disqualified. And we thought that, okay, we had secured the bronze medal. Then Canada went to launch an appeal that, no, you shouldn't disqualify us. We were on the right track. We didn't commit any offense in there. The appeal was held, and now Ghana missed out on the bronze medal. So Canada were back to second. Nigeria finished third, and Ghana missed out on the podium. So we couldn't win a medal in the 4x100 meter race, even though we had some of the best runners, the Joe Poamuas and all these guys in there. Unfortunately, Canada's appeal was held, and it means that Ghana finished the Commonwealth Games with just 2 medals.
So we're trying to progress based on
what Canada had done, where we thought there was an infringement in there. But the organizers said that no, the appeal was held, and Canada finishing second. Nigeria climbing the podium ahead of Ghana. But we are hoping that these guys, at least in the near future, would be winning something big for Ghana because we have a lot of hope for them. So, I mean, since 2002, this is our medal count. 2002, we won 1 medal. 2006, it was 3. 2010, it was 4. 2014, we had 2. 2018, just 1. 2022 was our biggest medal haul with 5. 2026, this year, we had just 2. So, since the 2002 inception of the Commonwealth Games, we've won 17 medals in total.
We had 2.
Yeah, 2. Just 2.
All right. I know that for many of these games, we always relied on boxing a lot.
Yes.
What has happened
it couldn't
over
fetch
the
us
years?
medals as well. I mean, boxing is one of the sports that we always hope to get something big from it. And it's won us a lot of medals, even in the Olympic Games. It used to be our flagship in sports, but these days we don't bring out or we don't churn out great boxers, and that is why Azuma Nelson and others are saying it's a concern. We must go back to the basics of what was really working for us. So maybe we're going to get some good boxers coming through. Now Samoajan wants to get back into investing in boxers. Recently he was at the Bukom Boxing Arena to look at a few boxers, and that is what they need. They need massive support because most of them are training with equipment that are not fit for purpose, and if you do that, you can't get to the level that you want to get to. So let's hope things change in the next couple of days.
Well, that's it for the latest sports headlines. If we want to get more updates, where do we go?
We have to go to 3 Sports GH on all our socials and get the latest update. But also, quick one, the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Abang Bagbin, has announced that the 2026 Democracy Cup would come off on the 28th of August. That is this month at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, and it's between Hartlepool and Asante Kotoko. So he says that there will be an exhibition match where you will have members of parliament playing against the judiciary as well. So 28th August, Baba Yara Hart Kotoko Democracy Cup 2026.
Thank you, Mutala, for the latest updates in sports, and make sure that you get onto social media handles and get the latest as well. We have to go for a break. When we come back, we'll bring you more right here on the show. tell you that it's time to make that move. It's time for a cold Malta Guinness, and the mind, the body, and Malta Guinness unite. When they do, nothing is beyond your reach. So make sure that you vim up your daily pursuit with a revitalizing taste of Malta Guinness, and it's packed with vitamins B. Charge forward towards your goals with each sip of its nourishing natural goodness, now with a new look. So remember to always look out for the proudly made in Ghana symbol on every bottle of Malta Guinness, and Malta Guinness is always the move. Now we have to take you to somewhere in Accra. Particularly, we have deployed Beatrice Edu again from the position paper from the report of the Constitution Review Committee about increasing the term of the president from a limit of 4 to 5 years for each term, and what the public or ordinary Ghanaians have to say about this. So we'll go over to Beatrice with the latest. Beatrice, what can you tell us?
The Constitutional Review Committee, among them extending the seat of Parliament from 176 to 300, and also presidential term limit from 4 to 5 years. Of course, that goes along with parliamentary term limits as well. And it's the reason we're here at Tema Station, which is a place where you have people from all walks of life converging here, either here to buy or sell. And we want to get the opinions of individuals here about really what the government's white position paper said had been accepted, which includes the term limit from 4 to 5 years. I do have a man here with me. Hello, sir. Please join me right here. Please tell us your name.
I'm called Endus Apomensa.
How old are you?
I'm 71 years old.
Tell us, now the government position paper is indicating that we are going to accept the recommendation that the term limit should be extended from 4 to 5 years, and there were varied reasons. Perhaps you had the opportunity to listen to the Attorney General when he spoke to us. What's your thoughts on it, having experienced, I mean, you have years of experience in Ghana?
My view is that it's very good to send it to 5 years, because the 4 years, the term limit is very limited, very small. The 4 years doesn't suit for the politicians, and even as large the members or the country people living in, for their decisions going and business going up and down. It doesn't suit for the nation or for the country.
So you're saying it's not sweet. Does it have to be sweet to them, or because the argument is that we need to have time for development? How about that? Which is why I asked you, because with your years of experience, you know the trajectory the country has been on.
But the whole thing is that you have to extend, as you said, and the people living in they have to get their long time limit to do their businesses, and shorten the long. It doesn't suit for the people, because for 4 years and
it's not enough. That's what you mean to say?
It's not enough. It's not fit for the people to make their businesses.
I assume by now you've retired, but what was your profession?
I haven't retired.
Okay.
I'm a businessman at the moment.
Okay, but what were you doing professionally?
At first, I was, let me say the truth, I was a welder for 27 years, and I came to driving about 17 years, and at the moment, I'm a businessman about 18 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
How is business?
Oh, very fine.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for speaking to us. He agrees with the acceptance, of course, that we should have the term limit from 4 years extended to 5 years. I do have a lady here with me. She sells second-hand clothing. Hello, ma. Me pacho be me wa Hawaii. She's also got her own views about it. Me pacho e fro say.
Pacho for me.
Second-hand clothing, that's what she sells. Now, what you saying? Say we say extended limit, from 4 to 5 years. What you saying?
Said they are rich, no. Omoba
nyama bi omo yi a omo nya nwie na omo se omo aban fofo aba nti se we na omo begina so na omo beye omo behwie bibia amahen dia ene so nkai be pene so sa
na would you say 4 to 5 years in a good
ya ba fun sa
a good and I say you good ojo hu a
ese 4 years no omo nwie bibia no market na ho no fofra aba nti se 5 years no omo beye amahen na hu se obaye no wa beye bibi ehwie a ene de nkaye
Madam Ekuya Yedasi Bebre Soni Akasa.
So
that's Madam Ekuya. She sells second-hand clothing, and her main view is whether or not it's 5 years. What is important is that when the presidents come, and of course, as you know, this also goes with members of parliament as well, they will do what is expected of them within the time limit. Now, if the argument is that the 4 years is not enough, then when they are given the opportunity, 5 years, remember that we had the Director of Legal Affairs for the governing NDC, ADG Tamaklo, telling us earlier that this recommendation, as accepted by the government, is spelled out clearly in the position paper, will not, the current president will not benefit from it. And so the expectation is that this should take effect from 2029. She thinks that whichever way, when they come and they have the time, they should do what is expected of them. Let me get the opinion of another person who is right here with us. Sir, join me here. Good morning to you.
I'm fine. I'm cool.
What's your name?
My name is Dennis. MC Dennis, aka
Oh, I see. What do you do here?
I'm selling here.
What do you sell?
I sell jeans, ladies jeans and men jeans.
Okay, so share with us, what's your opinion on 4 to 5 years, and if there's a chance of the presidents getting voted again, that's an entire 10 years.
I hope I will speak my local language.
Please go ahead.
Let's say any DM the Pamachawana government or to say we say numbers of parliament maybe 2008 before time 2004 2008 before the base yes one come 5 years say the beya ka the president obunyamre na we dey adwuma no yen this for say da omompene no omompe 4 years na say the yema ya santo ano sanso na yema kwadwo enti e say 4 years na maintain ho amaye na 4 years imponi ehu sika ni omudie na say 5 years as a Ghana isika nya besa.
So what you're saying is that because of corruption in the country, you do not agree. You can join us. You don't accept the 4 to 5.
No. 4 years now, 8 years. No, 8 years. So no bimla.
Obviously, he disagrees with it because he thinks that if we extend the time, then corruption will worsen in Ghana. Thank you very much, sir, for talking to us. Please join us as well. Let me get your thought on what you think. Your thought on this. Tell us your name, what you do here.
My name is Martin Kumato.
Okay, what's your thoughts? Is it a good thing to have presidents and members of parliament stay on for 5 years until they either changed or they continue? We vote for them to continue with their work.
To me, it's good. I like the 5 years because the 4 years, I think they are not using the 4 years to do work as we want it. So the 5 years, I think they can do better than the 4 years.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. There's another gentleman in the corner there. Let's try and get his thoughts as regards what's going on. And hello, sir. Thank you very much for... You're not... Okay, tell us what your...
problem is the fuel. That's what we are facing, the problem. So, like, we want you to help us so that you, the media, will help us. You, the media, will help us for the fuel. Because rather than that, we are suffering. We are suffering.
How much did you buy the fuel for? A liter for petrol. Do you use diesel or petrol?
Diesel. At first it was 13. But now it's almost 18. So right before you close for work, you have to buy diesel 800.
That's your problem right now.
That's my problem. At first you buy 400, you close from work. But from today going, from last week or going, if you didn't buy 800, you can't close from work.
What's your name, sir?
Oh, my name is Babylon Kingdom.
What do you do? Driver?
Yeah.
Okay.
But what's your thought on whether or not we have to extend the presidential term limit?
Oh, as for that one, it's a good decision for the 5 years because the 4 years, at least the first year, no, you'll be taking your ministers, you'll be taking your DCs. That one will take like maybe 6 months to 7 months. So maybe the first 1 year have gone, and we are going to use 2 years for the project, and the other 1 year is for campaign. So one is for 5 years is good, so that they can use the first year for the appointing the ministers and the CEOs, so that the first 3 years they can use it to do something.
So let me go back to your concern. How much did you buy a liter of fuel this morning?
Yesterday we used to buy a Guel, but right now Guel is almost 18, and the drivers we are suffering. Also, the government have to come to our aid. And they have to increase the road fare because right now we are suffering. We are suffering. You close from work, like the long journey drivers, we are crying for them. We the trotro, we are buying 800. So the driver going to Pando, so he's going to buy 1,500. So that's the driver. Everybody don't want to do the interview because we are hungry, and that's why like right now when we are going to Kaswa, it's 10 cedi. We used to take them 20 cedi because we are suffering. It's not if the government come to our aid and we do the fuel price for us, everybody will enjoy. That's our problem.
All right, thank you very much. So obviously, sir, do you want to talk to us? Obviously, sharing his thought on the presidential term limit, the extension of it, the acceptance of it by the government, and of course, talking about fuel prices as well, as you might have heard, it taking effect from across, the country. But really, as regards the presidential term limit and the extension of it, as you know, this is an entrenched position in the 1992 Constitution, so there has to be an official document to Parliament, after which Parliament will have to debate it, and then Ghanaians will be given the opportunity to vote on this, and the decision will be made as to whether or not that's the way we want to go. And hopefully, as the government has said, this should be taking effect from 2029. And so from here at my station in Accra, my name is Beatrice Edu. Thank you very much for joining us. But anyway, before that though, let's try and get just a few more people as regards really their thoughts on the presidential term limit. Hello, madam. Good morning. What's your name? Ruth. What's your thought on the extension of the presidential term limit from 4 to 5 years? Is it good or bad?
It's good.
It's good. Why do you think it's good?
I'm in a hurry.
Okay, let me try and catch this man. Hello, sir. Good morning to you. What's your name? You're live on TV3.
My name is Dixon.
Okay, Dixon. What's your thought on the extension of the presidential term limit from 4 to 5 years?
Well, I believe it will give our presidential, I would say, executives more time to actually achieve their goals, their objectives, what they actually set out in their manifestos to do. So I believe it's in the right direction. We should give them that space and time to actually operate within, to be able to achieve what they are set out to do.
Listening to you, it looks like when we get to that stage where we need to vote on this, you vote a yes.
Of course.
What do you do?
I'm a sales manager, sales executive, I should say.
Okay. What's your name again?
Dixon Asante.
Dixon. All right, thank you very much, Dixon, sharing his thoughts as well. So, as you can tell, varied opinions as regards to whether or not this is good, and perhaps we can try and see whether we'll get just a few more people, just so we add on to. Hello, sir. Good morning. You're live on TV3. Okay, he's not talking, obviously. But yes, perhaps I can get just a bit more from individuals who are busily selling. Hello, ma. It's saying. We say presidential term limit. I almost say from 4 years to 5 years. And oh, okay. Oh, okay. So she just came to shop here. And I didn't say.
Oh, I'm going to call 5 years now. I
didn't see no sir.
Oh, sir. Mama ni oya mama no ye ne je hu enti opiem a ebe boaye.
So no all enjoy you from 2029.
Oh, okay. Anu susu a Imagine say pa.
Who says omunya 5 years in then omo betimi aya ma omen.
Oh. So wa any tua ne omo sha ase eye. Enti e ko 5 years na ye bompa ye se be ko anim so saa. Aha, ne ma hudo so gu akwan mu a mama odiba. Enti ye bompa ye se be nya 5 years na obeye saa ma ye.
But the president is not saying no on tina so bi mu o se owi a hoko. So onim saa.
Oh, okay. So kwakra se ne ma ne de o ya ma Ghana man. No enya ne fie na odi ko. Enti ye be boaye.
All right, so she also agrees. Ma'am, do you want to talk to us? Okay, it looks okay. She doesn't want to talk to us. But which of you wants to talk to us about presidential term limits? You want to talk to us? Okay. About presidential term limits. Where is your car going to? Oh, say president. Also on third term. All right. What do you think about the term limits?
It's too small. Yeah. Yes.
But Ariba kuna ya emano mu ye wono mu she under when ni kariba from.
Okay. She equally has her own issues, but thank you very much for joining us right here from Tema Station Tunnel, Tema Station in Accra. My name is Beatrice Edu, and like I did tell you earlier, please, our cameraman was nearly hit by a car, but sorry about that. Yes, so obviously varying opinions about the presidential term limit and the extension of it. And you saw what some individuals are calling for a third term, something the president has said on a number of occasions that he's not interested in. And so from Tema Station in Accra, once again, my name is Beatrice Edu. Thank you very much for joining us.
Well, again, the hazards of the job also being enumerated by Beatrice Edu, who had been speaking to a number of discussants or members of the public, particularly their own views on the increment of the presidential term based on what the recommendations of the Constitutional Review Committee led by Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh, subsequently a position paper issued by government on increasing the term from 4 to 5 years for each term that a presidential candidate and the party tend to win subsequently. Also among those recommendations are the thorny issue of the dual citizens occupying key positions in the top echelons of the executive, the legislature, and also the judiciary, with the exception of president and vice president, among many others as well. But you can get details of the committee's report, the position of the government on the Constitution Review Committee on 3news.com. But again, attention all parents of first-year senior high school boarding students. EduPac, the Ghana Education Service, approved and supported national senior high school initiative implemented by Prospectus Ghana is now in progress across the country. Now, parents across Ghana are already registering so that their children's trunks, Macintosh mattress pillows, as well as plastic chalk boxes will be ready and waiting at their schools of choice before reporting day. Now, it also means that you don't have to delay and be caught in the usual last-minute market frenzy or rush, carrying heavy items under pressure. Because with EduPac, your child does not need to travel to school with all essential items to register. And so all you need to do is to make sure you simply dial *713# 821#, and then you also get to visit the ADB branch or go to www.edupacgh.com. Make your payment, keep your receipt, and present it on opening day to collect all your child's EduPac items at the school of your choice. Your EduPac registration follows you to any senior high school you are placed in. You have to make sure you avoid the stress, avoid the rush, prepare with confidence, all at a very affordable price. EduPac, approved and supported by GES. For more information, call them on the number 0500 600 607 or 0302 955050. EduPac, no stress, no wahala. let's do some draws when it comes to cash out before we do some birthdays this morning. A couple of you again sending messages on the subject matter. I see Prince Nania York and a couple of you as well. But let's do a draw. And the number winning for this draw is 0242875. All right. Yeah, let's look at those celebrating their birthdays this morning. We have a couple of you, so we're celebrating you as quickly as we can before we call it a close this morning for our show. And Nana Frasika Mensah, former deputy coordinator, the Free SHS Secretariat. God bless you from myself, the rest of your family as well. Nana Frasika Mensah. Thank you, Shadrach. Shadrach is just a wonderful producer. Also celebrate your birthday, Ellen Osei Tutu, with the Ghana Prison Service from Shadrach. God bless your new age, according to Shadrach. And have a blessed one. We're going to have lunch together. Ellen Osei Tutu. Eddie One of Volta College Foundation. God bless you from Seraphine Akpene. Eddie, happy birthday to you. And then also you'll celebrate your birthday, Kwame Chejare Yamwa, from your parents, your mom and dad. They love you so much, Kwame. Bernard Kate from everybody at Regisac Properties Limited. They love you so much. Happy birthday to you, Bernard. Osei Mafo, Extra Osei Mafo. You are being celebrated by Captain Bright Minta of the Ghana Forces. It says, I celebrate an amazing woman whose love and strength make every day brighter. Captain, with these sweet love messages to you, Esther Osemafo. Eunice Summer Konao, may your new year be blessed, from Eric, TV3. Nene Tete Nano Ojiji II, Chief of New Somanya, celebrate your birthday, from Dromi Homes and Family. Belinda Dati, you celebrate your birthday, from Nana B, Mommy and the entire family. Have a blissful new age. Also celebrating your birthday, Rabbi Newton Edujinyako. Grow more in Jehovah's special grace, from your mom. Happy birthday to you. Kwame Nkrumah Castro, happy birthday to you. God bless your age, from your younger brother Castro C. Amwako of Media General. You also celebrate your birthday, Adjoa Amankra Mante. Grow into an amazing woman, from the Children's Service Teachers, PCG, Tema Community 11. Nanama Fusua Boache from Children's Service Teachers, PCG, Tema Community 11 as well. Nanama, have a blessed happy birthday. Declan Nelike Magbe, you're a gift and a blessing, from Children's Service Teachers, PCG, Tema Community 11. Maud Senya from Senya, okay. Maud Senya, God bless you, from Owaski. Happy birthday to you, Maud. Pastor Ralph Sarong, head pastor of Remnant Relay Gathering Accra, from Glinda. Happy birthday to you. God bless you, Pastor. Emerald Naadole Aloti, God bless your new age. I love this post. Emerald, happy birthday to you now. Elijah Stephen, with the UK Army, enjoy this new age. May God bless and increase you greatly. Happy birthday to you. Daiga Kwajo Day, the 12th president of the Peki traditional area and the king of Peki, from the Citizens Forum, the Peki Citizens Forum. Happy birthday to you, Daiga. Madam Gifty Anamfiu of Nungwa Katamanto, from Eric of TV3, and the message is, may your new year be blessed. Happy birthday to you, Gifty Anamfiu. Mrs. Braid Agnes Pukia, from your husband Frank Badies. Happy birthday to you, Mrs. Badies. Nanapoku, Ohio, USA, from the children, Mary Ajima and the entire family, Nanapuku. Happy birthday, Ohio, USA. Well, you can also get interactive throughout the rest of the day. We have more programming. Sports is next, and then we're going to bring you various content throughout the rest of the day as well. But we have to call it a morning. David Odro, Mr. David Odro, I wish you all the best for the day. And then Samuel Saviola Amuji of Tema, wishing you all the best for the day as well. All of you have a blessed one. And okay, so Master Stephen Odro, Asari of Kukumemle Redemption Congregation Presbytery, from your dad Lazarus Man and Aseda, your sister. Sorry we couldn't display this picture, I came quite late. And that'll be it for now. Please make sure you join us same time tomorrow. Bye bye, have a blessed day.